Hello and welcome to Gauntlet Con 2018. This is one of the games. It's not the whole con. It's just one of the 100 or so games. It's an online convention that is part of the Gauntlet community, which is a group of friends who enjoy each other's company and playing pretend elf games. We are a community of online tabletop role-playing game players, and there's some online LARP stuff that happens as well. Thank you, Garrett. This particular game is called Bat Hack. It is a game that I've run a few times, and I'm writing with heavy editing from my buddy Paul. It is based off of David Black's Black Hack, which is it's like several generations down because this Black Hack is a D&D OSRE type game where it's player facing roles, and it's very simple and quick to the table. And I just scratched out some words that were strength, dex, intelligence and put in baseball-y words, and then added a few layers that made it feel a little baseball-y to me. Now, in this game, in the Bat Hack, the player characters are ball player characters. Unfortunately, are all male because that's just how minor league baseball is at this point. There have been a few females who have played minor league baseball, but they're kind of been more lower key, and that's just the whole gender divide isn't currently in the build of this game. You also will not be playing pitchers. So if you thought you wanted to be a hurler, I'm sorry, we don't have rules for that yet. May not. I'm not sure. We'll see. What we're going to do is create minor league baseball players who play for the Gauntlet City Goblins. Now, minor league baseball players only play for 6 months out of the year. I know that in more modern times, there are minor league players who will sign multi-million-dollar contracts. You are not those guys. You will be in a medium-sized city, which is Gauntlet City. Can't find it on a map because we've made it up. But the best analog is kind of a Midwest American, larger than a town, not quite on the order of top 50 cities in America. The time frame is kind of a yesteryear. If you remember from the Tim Burton Batman movies, how you had this kind of anachronism going on, that there was some more modern tech, but then the older 40s, 50s styles of clothing and design. That's generally what I'm going. And the only reason I say that is to say, I don't want to deal with Twitter. That isn't what this baseball game is about you guys worrying about keeping up your Instagram account. So I generally think it kind of nestles in the 80s to 90s time frame. And I give you 2 decades because one of the cool things that I've recently added to the game that had a lot of success was your walk-up song. You get to choose for your minor league baseball player. If you choose, you can choose a walk-up song. It's the song that we played over the loudspeakers as your character comes from that circle to come up to bat. It's always fun to get a little indication to see a little bit of your character's personality there. Not only are we going to play this game on the diamond, the baseball diamond, and we have very abstract rules. We're not going to play pitch by pitch. Trust me, it will take forever. But we abstract out those particular baseball matches. And it's weird to say you're going to play a baseball game when we're playing a role-playing game. It's kind of like, Inception. So I'll just say a baseball match so that I can keep things straight. But you're also going to get a bit of a look through your minor league baseball player's life off the field. And that will be part of your character creation as well. So that's the initial pitch, as it were. It's going to be a lot of bad baseball puns. Just be ready for it. But I want to real quick ask, so Dylan, what is your kind of relationship to baseball? How comfortable are you? What are you a fan of?
So I am a Yankees fan by marriage. My in-laws are all, my father-in-law's a diehard Yankees fan. I've never been a super big fan. My family tends to be the Met, like the Mets, and I went to Mets Phillies games as a kid. When I lived in Vermont, I went to a lot of minor league games because they had a minor league team. That was fun because the games weren't as long and it wasn't as crowded, and just a nicer experience. But I know the basic rules. I occasionally watch playoffs or World Series or when I'm at a bar if there's baseball on TV. But that's about it.
Cool, awesome. Haley, what's your relationship to baseball and your interest level?
So I live in Australia where we don't really baseball. But I have I've watched a few games and stuff, and I have a very basic idea of I think I know the rules and some of the terminology, but I'm not super familiar with baseball.
Okay.
But it's certainly the it captures my interest. I really enjoyed fiction about baseball.
Good. Absolutely. So note to self, no double switches. Don't worry about it. That is perfectly fine. Having a TV movie level understanding of baseball is good enough. I will walk you through any aspects of the game that are a little hinky. There is some weird shit in baseball. It's a 100-year-old game. There will be stuff that I don't get that happen in actual games right now. So don't worry about it. I'm happy to have you aboard. Keith, what is your interest level in the baseball?
I have watched and previously played baseball for quite a long time. It was one of the things that my parents forced me to do that actually took. Really enjoyed playing until pitchers learned to throw curveballs, and that was about it. And enjoy watching the Phillies disappoint me pretty much every year.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, I had one.
I played Little League up until the point when I got beaned. And there was literal imprint, even though I had a helmet on, there was an imprint of the stitches from the baseball on the side of my face for a few days. From that point on, I was a little scared of the ball. I did play some softball in college, and that was super fun because it's really slow. So even if it hits you,
I liked getting beaned. That was a free base. I got an award for most likely to sacrifice his body for the team. So
I don't mind giving up a hip or a shoulder, but when it gets you to the side of the head, it's like, holy crap, that is scary. So yeah, I love baseball. I love being in Florida. I live in Florida, and so every spring when spring training starts up, I like to go to a few games, although the teams are moving further and further south and moving to Arizona, so there are less opportunities for me. I know when the Braves move out of the Disney Stadium, that will break my heart because they run a good show there. It was super fun to always go there. This game is based off of not a very in-depth deep knowledge of baseball, but it is based off of a love of the ideas of baseball, the fiction of baseball, the heart of baseball, the spirit of it. So as it works in Black Hack, so it will work for us. Let me share with you a few linky dinkies to things, and then you won't see my face for a bit because I will share screens. First, you will get a gander at the character keeper. There are 3 tabs on it: team, game time, and people. You only really need to concern yourself with team right now. And we will be making your character. And then the next link that I share with you is formally stirring kite, which is the role for your party link that I have a cool little picture of a minor league baseball stadium in the background. And then just for reference, in case you might need it, I'll share with you the base rules, but don't worry, I'm here and I know what's going on with my own game, or less. And if I don't, then that's a rule I should excise. So what we do here for creating your character is there are several aspects. First of all, there are levels. I know, crazy, right? But don't worry about the levels because it's from the Black Hack, so you're just going to all be first level. You have several stats: speed, which is running and moving quickly; hitting, which is putting the bat on the ball; fielding, catching, and throwing; leadership, which is kind of a nebulous charisma on the field. You can use leadership to talk to your manager, who's your coach. You can use it to encourage other teammates. And because during play we found that it's kind of boring for NPC batters to be up there and you guys twiddling your thumbs, during particular moments where you might have to bridge based on the batting order where no player is doing a thing, you might be able to use leadership to try to encourage a teammate, and you can kind of roll for them. And then likability is the last of the stats, and that's how you deal with people off the field, the press, the fans, perhaps the upper management, it's the day-to-day likability that you have. No, it doesn't have to do with Instagram. So this game is kind of in the yesteryear, like a 80s, 90s. So where the social media that you have is the radio. dealing with radio reporters or the newspaper. That's a physical print newspaper with ink that gets on your fingers. It used to exist. So if you could take a look at the roll for your party link, if each of you could just kind of choose a color for your dice. The way that we make characters is we roll dice for it. I know it's crazy that you have to roll dice for stats, but trust me, it's really fun. The way that they are generated is with 3d6 straight down the line. Speed, hitting, fielding, leadership, and likability. There is a little thing that I've stolen from Black Hack that if you roll a 15 on one of your stats and the next stat, you need to roll 2d6 plus 2. I'll trust you on that one. And then the last thing I'll say is when several people are rolling dice on Roll for Your Party, sometimes things will kind of wink in and out. If you want to roll physical dice, that's okay. If that's what you choose to do to create your stats. If it gets frustrating, you're like, crap it, I'm just going to grab 3d6 off of my shelf right near me, like I have. Oh, dice right over there. Dylan, what color do you want?
I will grab maybe blue to match my character color.
All right. And then Haley, what color would you like?
Character color seems smart. I'll roll with green.
Awesome. Then I guess Keith, what do you call that? Puce? I don't think that's on there.
Just go red. It's
all right.
Reddish. That's Google spreadsheets red.
Red. It is technically light magenta 3, so I think it is red. You're right. Cool. So I'm going to be watching dice mode. This is probably super boring for other people, so let me share screen so you don't have to stare at me with my hand on my chin, and you can look at the roll for your party as we see some people rolling. So, oh my goodness, did somebody just roll a 16? That is crazy. 16. Did I? Yep, I did the thing where I changed where the tab I was looking at is. Oh, somebody got a 16, and it's Keith with a 16. Oh my goodness, these dice are hot. That's a 15 in blue. This is really, really impressive starts here.
Oh, do I do 2d6 plus 2 for the next one then?
Correct.
Okay. Oof.
Oh my. Oh my. You are definitely a speedster, but not hitting. Now, the good news is that once you get through character creation for those stats, you can, if you want, you can swap one for the other. If you get at the end and you're like, oh, that doesn't feel right. I really want a good one. You can swap that. And it looks like some people are doing some crazy copy pasting. That's exciting to me. Thank God for undo.
Getting a heck of a lot of 9s after that 16.
And so this makes sense to you. Those stats are what you're trying to roll under on a D20 roll. So the higher your stat, the better. Now you say, oh crap, I've got a bunch of 9s. That's terrible. When you make levels in Bad Hack, you try to roll over your stat. And if you do, then it goes up. And just so we can test out the system, at about the midpoint of this 3-hour play test, we'll go ahead and make a level. Except for Dylan. You don't get to make a level. I'm joking. You totally do. Unless your character dies. And if you do, I'll be really surprised. No characters have been harmed in the making of Bad Hack.
Dylan's also super fast. My goodness.
Oh my goodness. You guys are a speedy team. Holy crap, Haley. Your character is a hitting master, a maestro, as it were. Cool. All of our stats have been rolled. Now we'll move to the next part, and I will share screens on that particular thing. So this is a class-based system. You have positions here. Up on row 4, you can choose your position. Now they're grouped. You can play a catcher. Oh, by the way, yes, please, there is some niche protection. Don't all of you choose to play a catcher, because if so, 2 of you get to ride the pine. That's sitting on the bench and not actively playing. We have catcher, first baseman, middle infielder, third baseman, and outfielder. So outfielder, of course, everybody could be outfielder if you want to be part of the outfield. That's no problem. When you choose that particular position, you'll see that your starting hit points, which is what protects you from being taken off the field due to injury, will change, as will your hit point recovery, your effect die, and special features will all change based off of the position that you choose.
Yeah, I'm feeling with that 16 speed. I'm probably a center fielder, so.
Yeah. Oh, put me in, coach.
And actually, all the special features seem pretty well suited for what I rolled up.
Yeah. So one of the things about black hack that I have in bat hack is the idea of rolling with advantage and rolling with disadvantage. When you roll with advantage, you roll 2d20, and then you take the best of the two. And by best, of course, you want to roll under your stat, so you would take the lowest. And rolling with disadvantage means you roll 2d20 and you take the highest of the two.
Yeah, I could see, Haley, your person being either first or third. I don't know what all the special features are, but the way you can mash the ball seems like a corner infielder.
Yeah, corner infielder, first or third baseman is great. First baseman is usually where your power hitter gets stuck because they don't have to move a whole lot.
So I have no idea like what a good position for my stats are. I did. We were able to switch to, right? Like that, like the
yes,
black hack.
you're able to swap out. Yeah, you can swap your
I swapped my likability and my hitting.
Okay, that's totally cool. No one likes you.
Yeah, we already have somebody who's really likable. So.
Oh, is that me? Because I was going to switch
that. You guys going to be the next Bad News Bears? That's lovely.
Oh, if you just, I'll go back to. I don't know. I'm trying to decide what would be good.
I could just switch my hitting with my likability and be completely useless on the field.
He's
great guy. Can't play a lick, but what a guy.
I switched him back because I haven't decided which two I actually want to switch yet because I haven't figured out these.
Yeah, take a moment. We're not in a race. Starting from row 27 down, there will be some things about your character's personality and background that you'll be answering, but those
all right,
so pretty standard.
Likability is pretty much the only off-field stat, right?
It is.
So no, except as a middle infielder, I can test likability instead of fielding to make a showy defensive play.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I might go with that and leave my likability at 12 and switch something different.
Yeah, I'm between switching likability and fielding, but I can roll with advantage when testing speed to catch a long fly ball, but must roll effect die for injury. So I can run real fast at stuff. That's a plus.
It's hard to figure out what I want my dump stat to be. Right now it's like my lowest is on hitting. I'm going to go ahead and make, since I'm so likable, I'm going to go ahead and make leadership my dump stat.
Makes sense.
Cool. Middle infielder is that works for me. That's fine.
There we go.
Yeah, you don't want that 6 in hitting. That is rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I also have to roll at disadvantage when testing likability off the field.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so likability or is that just the middle infield that has likability on the field?
Well, you can have likability on the field if you're trying to make a showy play, if you're trying to reach out to the crowd, get everybody pumped up for you, or the team, that kind of stuff, rally cap, stuff like that.
All right, so that does transcend.
It does.
Outside the lines.
And I'm sorry, that was unclear earlier. Thank you for asking that question.
All right. I think I'm good with stats.
Cool.
I'll leave them
Me
as
too.
rolled.
All right. Fantastic. So if you look down here about why do you play, as you chose your position, these things popped in. Let me make one of these a little bit bigger. So, sorry. So the first question is the same for everybody. Why do you dream of playing in pro baseball in the big leagues? Notice I don't say Major League Baseball because I don't want to pay anybody. You can do it for the challenge, for the money, for the fame, or legacy, which to me, legacy is that someone in your family could have been a pro, because you'd be surprised at how many minor leaguers have family members who used to be professional baseball players. Your character detail 2 is based off of your position choice, and it's a little bit different. So you have open field. There's no drop down there. This is the writing portion of our test. And then the last one is minor leaguers don't get paid much. How do you make ends meet? And the options there are, let me explain them a little bit. Try to hold down a job, which means you have a part-time job, and you're basically paying for an apartment month-to-month lease. You could room with other ball players, which means that maybe you're living in a closet or swapping out, and then live with host family. In minor league baseball cities, often there will be super fans of families, a lot of times families where they have a bit of an empty nest, and they will offer up a place for a ball player to stay free of charge.
Just a heads up, Rich, the open-ended ones still have pick one at the end.
Do they? That is a dumb thing for me to have. Thank you for that. Let me fix that. I'll fix that. Thank you so much. How could you pick one? I don't even understand. I think in an earlier iteration I had a few ideas, but then I thought, it's more fun to let people actually answer it. It's like magic, guys. Cool. Very nice answer for your outfielder, Keith. That is pretty great.
He was inspired by our conversation. Oh, what level of baseball are the Goblins at?
So the answer is vague, but I consider it like a double pushing AAA.
Okay.
Primarily because, and this is a little quote unquote inside baseball, like AAA, you see a lot of pros that might be just, rehabbing from an injury, or they bounce in. You have those 4A players. I see the dream of being a major leaguer a little further off. So that's why I generally put it in the AA.
Are they affiliated with a major league team?
They are. The unnamed city Goblins.
Okay.
Which you can sub in for the Mets if you would like, Dylan.
No, I'm not a Mets fan.
Or the
my
Phillies,
dad and my
if you like.
sister and stuff.
Or the Yankees.
I tried when we moved to like South Jersey. I tried to become a Phillies fan. I'm still trying. It's just very, very hard.
I understand that.
It's not been easy for a while.
In football, my family is from Ohio, so I have the unfortunate distinction of being a Browns fan, and I have tried very hard to get rid of that, and it just won't go. It's like I could just be an Eagles fan. I'm outside Philadelphia. It'd be easy. It's not.
But everyone roots for the Browns, even if they're not your team.
Well, you can't root
help
against
it.
them. That would just be mean. That's punching down.
All right. So I see that everybody's got your stats, some of your background. Now you have the hardest part of character creation. You need to come up with a name. And then the second hardest is probably a walk-up song. Not a requirement. We can always just glide that, but I do find it to be fun. And yes, I will look up the YouTube video of that just so I can have the picture in my head. Picture? The sound. How about the sound? The sound. I care less about the picture of a song.
Should our starting hit points have automatically rolled for us?
That is a great question. And that is not. So you do need to roll those stats. Thank you very much.
Oof. Fragile.
Also,
Andrew.
oof.
Dylan's gonna have to take all the bean balls because if I get hit, I'm gonna break in half.
An 8. Oh wait, I rolled a D10. Was I supposed to roll a D10?
Mm-hmm. You have a D10 plus 2.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a 10. I can take those bean balls.
Does JJ bat left or right?
Lefty, closer to first base.
Nice. And then I've got to look there. If you want to just put a quick description, that's cool. If you want to look up a picture of some person with a baseball cap and throw it in there, that's cool too. It's really up to you. And I'm sorry if there's a weird squeaking background noise that you hear. My family are currently engaged with our 6-month-old puppy. Engaged as in playing with him.
Not getting married.
No, they're not. He's an eligible bachelor, though. However, it has been fixed. So just so you know, there'll be no kids. He could adopt. I don't know. This is getting a little long for this joke. I'm going to stop. Sweet. We've got names. All right, now I'm going to go down. Oh, yay. Hugo lives with the host family. Oh, goodness. That's a great song, too. Tough Thumb Can't Get Knocked Down. Bon Jovi.
I was thinking of Bon Jovi. But instead, you have to listen to Whitesnake.
Oh, man. Oh, that's great.
Nobody picked Wild Thing. So.
Well, we're not allowed to be pitchers, so.
Cool. All right. Let me add in a little bit of details for Haley's wonderful answer. There we go. All right. So here's what we're going to do. You guys get a chance to introduce each other, introduce your characters, and then we'll work out a wee bit of detail on that. I may ask a couple questions. Then we'll take a brief break and we'll jump straight into the game, okay? So Keith, since you're the fastest, you get to bat lead off here.
Yes.
Tell us about your character.
JJ Hawk is the center fielder for the Goblins and has aspirations of greatness. He likes to challenge himself against the competition. And of course, as we do, he rationalizes speed as being the most important tool that a baseball player might have, given it is the only one he has in abundance. But it helps you out batting and fielding. So really, isn't it the best one? And he uses it to make up for his other shortcomings. He is very lanky, dark-skinned, tall, short hair guy. Uses his long body to get to the base just a little bit sooner. And is happy to take a bunt and a steal and get in scoring position for any one of you guys that can maybe get a hit to the outfield.
That is wonderful. And then JJ is rooming with other ball players, I see. I think that maybe you room with Dylan's character because that's fun. But one more ball player, because why not? I'm going to have you room with Jordan the Bus Foley, who is 6 foot tall only on the program and is actually more like 5'10". And in the program also says that Jordan weighs a hefty 255, but you would assume that it might be a little bit more than that.
What was his position?
He's a pitcher.
He's the pitcher. Wow.
Yeah, he is a pitcher. He's a big boy. Cool. So thank you so much, Keith. Let's go next to Haley.
Yeah, so Hugo is kind of a tall, muscular guy with a shaped head. He's got a little bit of extra, weight going on, but it hides his baseball uniform hides it reasonably well. And he
orders his jersey like a size too large, and he kind of has a little like a ruffle there before he tucks it in his belt. Awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly what he does. He's extremely vain, and he really only cares about money. He's trying to save money in any possible way he can, and he dreams about the day where he doesn't have to save money anymore because he'll just have it. And everything he does is like a calculated choice to try and get to that point as quickly as possible.
Did he grow up poor? Is that why he's obsessed with money? Or what is it that's so important about to him about money?
I think actually he grew up in quite a well-to-do family, but then something happened. His parents got laid off, and like his circumstances changed really dramatically, and it also created a lot of turmoil in his family. And he always thinks back to that time where it was like everything was pristine and perfect because we had money, and then after that we didn't, and everything was awful, and that's like impressed upon him.
So I imagine that you're both mother and father. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I do. I've got a younger sibling.
Younger sibling, cool. And so do they because of not much money, do they get an opportunity to come to your games often? Have they ever been to any of your games?
My parents don't. I think they live quite far from here. My younger brother does. I think he is in college here, and I got him into the games. He likes baseball. But he thinks I made a bad choice being a baseball player.
The percentage chance of a minor league baseball player ever getting a brief visit to the majors, which is called getting a cup of coffee, is infinitesimally small. It is terrifying if you actually look at the math. Last but not least, we have Dylan. Please tell us about your ball player, Dylan.
Okay, so this is Danny. He often goes by Danny Boy Sullivan, and he is a middle infielder. Can I make him a shortstop? Is that cool?
He is now a shortstop.
He's a shortstop. He is just young kid, kind of right out of college. He plays because it's all the only thing he's really good at. He's got 4 older brothers, and they're all doctors. Well, one of them's still in med school, but they call him doctor still. Let's see here. What were my other things? He's a defensive whiz, but a weak bat. So he tries to get beaned a lot. He is very superstitious as well, and he rooms with other ball players, including JJ and the Bus.
That is wonderful. I'm going to circle back around. I don't feel like I asked a whole lot of questions about JJ. So JJ is lanky. He's a short haircut, kind of tall. Is that right? What about his family? Is he from far away, or where do you imagine he's from like out of the country? What do you think?
I think it's probably a significant car ride. Like it's not you'd have to fly, but he is an only child, so there's not a whole lot of family around. And it's rare that mom and dad can actually make it out to a game because they are both working like 50, 60 hours a week, something like that. So he does have a little bit of the money thing going on as well, but there isn't really any pressure coming from the family. It's sort of like, this is the thing you do. This is the measuring stick that you're using to gauge yourself as a person. And they're supportive of him going out there and doing that and putting himself to the test every day against the best competition he can find.
Nice. That is fantastic. Thank you so much. So it is 38 after. Let's take a 7-minute break. So at 45 after, we'll jump right in, and we'll be right in the middle of a baseball match.
Sounds
See you
good.
soon. Well, instead of a squeaky toy, and we now get to hear an occasional bark in the background, just imagine if someone has snuck a dog into the stadium. It
could always be a promotion.
Or our mascot could be a dog dressed up as a goblin.
Wow. True story. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp is the minor league team here. And during one inning of every home game, the bat dog will retrieve bats. This is a dog that's mostly trained to run out and grab the bat. And the mostly trained is the part of, and then hand it to their trainer. Normally, they just want to run around in circles with the bat and make the trainer fall all over himself, fetching the bat. It is wonderful. It is delightful. And one of my favorite things about minor league baseball. You guys are currently, so it is currently late August, which means that you are only a week or so away from what's called September call-ups. In September call-ups, that's when the major league teams are able to expand their rosters from 25 to 40, opening up 15 spots. Now, the higher level minor league teams will often pull, that's where they will be pulled from, but occasionally there have been Gauntlet City Goblins who make their way onto the pro team, your major league affiliate, during a September call-up. It is critical for you to play your absolute best. You're currently in the first of a 3-game series against the hated Galarian Pathfinders team. Now, the Pathfinders are a sister city to Gauntlet City, whereas Gauntlet City is a little more blue collar. Galarian is a coastal city. It's a lot of the elite. Everyone hates the Galarian. They have special rules. Their rules are there's so many more rules. It's very crunchy is what they describe their politics there at the Galarian Pathfinders. Everyone from Gauntlet City hates the Pathfinders. That's just how you guys are raised, and how you've been told that things need to happen. The Scots, who are the host family for you, Hugo Jensen, first baseman. All the Scots are here. Jeff and Hillary, who are both in their mid-50s, as well as Stephanie Scott, who's currently here on a break from college. And all of them have come here to watch you play. This is a beautiful stadium. It's right on the bay. You can actually hear the boats, and occasionally the lighthouse, the Pathfinder lighthouse is there in the backdrop. And the stadium is filled to the brim with a lot of Galarian fans, but also the Goblins in their green are here representing. If you guys go to the Game Time tab, you will see that it is currently the first of those 3 games. And you guys have the fortune of starting off the top of the 6th inning. So from here to here, these are the innings, and you guys scored 3 runs in the top of the 3rd, 1 run in the top of the 4th. But unfortunately, the Pathfinders have scored a total of 5 runs. So you can see here in the 5s, you guys are down by 1. And 3 errors have been committed so far in this game. It's been a sloppy game for the Goblin defense. Unfortunately, your second baseman, Hoi Jun Park, has fumbled the ball 2 of those 3 times. Now, who has committed the 3rd error? And that error, by the way, is why the Pathfinders are in the lead. If you take a look at that Goblins batting order, that is you guys as well as your non-player batter characters. So JJ, you lead off in the batting order. So we'll just get that there. Hugo, you are batting 3rd. And Big Daniel Barrios is our cleanup hitter. And hey, Danny, you can take comfort in the fact that you're not the last hitter, because Hobie, the Nibbler Harris, known as the Nibbler because he nibbles around the strike zone and never seems to want to throw one down the middle. He seems to be a little afraid of hitters, so he is a trick pitcher. But someone here on the field committed that 3rd error, which is why the Galarian Pathfinders had taken the lead. Who is it? And I'll leave this open for whoever wants to answer, or I will call upon one of you who has committed that one fateful error.
Either of you want to claim an error with your 7 or 8 fielding?
Yeah, I'm very happy for Hugo to claim it. He just wants to hit. He's thinking about hitting. He's been thinking about hitting the entire match. How long till I can hit?
I only get to hit 1 out of every 9 at bats.
That's right. If only I could hit more. That would be great. So, you guys currently, it's top of the 6th. And the last person, the last out that was made by last at bat for you guys was Alexander Palma, which means that Danny Boy Sullivan is the first person to lead off this inning. So of course, after the between inning activities that take place, there's a dizzy bat race that happens where they have a couple of the kids from the stands come out and they have to stick their forehead to a bat that's planted on the ground. They have to run around in circles, keeping their forehead planted to the bat. And then after getting incredibly dizzy 3 times around, they have to run down the base path to try to beat the other kid. One kid falls. Another kid nearly goes into the dugout and is pushed up by your team. And that's ending as the beginning guitar licks of Bon Jovi's Wanted Dead or Alive is playing over the speakers, and you come up to bat with no outs, no one on base, and you get to be the first person to try to engage our system and get a hit. Let me quickly go over how batting works in this game. So, hitting. When a ball player steps up to the plate to try and get a hit, they have 3 ways to try to get on base. Each method affects the stat that you roll as well as the effect of that roll. If you just want to hit it where they ain't, a primary, go up there, see the ball, hit the ball, then all you have to do is roll hitting. You roll D20 and try to roll underneath your hitting stat. If you want to swing for the fences and attempt to get an extra base hit, then you roll hitting with disadvantage. However, if you are successful with that roll, you can step up your effect die by 1 type. Now, Danny, you are a middle infielder. So if you take a look at row 17, your effect die is a D4. That's terrible because after you get a hit, even if you successfully get a hit, you have to roll that effect die to see what your hit is, which means that 25% of the time, even when you get a hit, it's an out. So there's a third option available. If you want to try to bunt or to get an infield hit, then you roll with speed, but you do that with disadvantage, meaning you roll 2d20 and take the highest of the 2. The successful roll means the ball player has a single. You're on first base, and you do not have to roll the effect die. Any questions about that, Dylan? Is that clear?
Yeah, no, I think that's clear.
Good. And I'm happy to go over it again.
There's no stat to try and lean in and take a beat. It's okay. I'm just gonna.
There's not a stat for getting hit by a ball. I think though that is a fair point. I will think with it. Kyle Halbon is the pitcher for the Pathfinders. It is the 6th inning. He is already starting to labor a bit. You can see that he is quite sweaty. He has some pine tar on his forearm there that occasionally he will rub before he rubs the ball as he walks and stalks around the mound. Kyle is a pretty stocky individual, and he is quite a hurler. He's actually 6'8", so he throws a lot of heat. Now, he is not, he's in the low 90 miles per hour right now, whereas he started the game in the 95s or 96s. So your challenge rating, which is where I would affect your D20 roll by saying something's more difficult, your challenge rating is flat because at this point he's pretty tired. He's just throwing heat. Pictures have appeared for our team. I'm so excited. Which means that you just get to roll straight up roll. What would you like to do? You want to swing for the fences? You want to hit it where they ain't? Or would you like to try to bunt or get an infield hit?
I'm just so the regular old one is just is that the hit it where they ain't or?
Yep. Yep,
Okay.
just roll with hitting.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to make
Okay.
it more complicated.
So does the roll represent it represents the entire at bat,
It
not necessarily
represents
each
the
pitch?
entire at bat. That's
Okay.
how I've abstracted this game, so that we're not here for 5 hours.
Okay.
So you roll a d20,
Okay.
and then you're trying to roll under your hitting, which means you're 10 or less. You got a 50-50 shot here, sir.
Okay. And can we say like I went to a full count?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm just exercising the extent of the baseball knowledge that I know.
I love it. This is great. I
5.
give you Ghost XP. You rolled a 5.
Rolled a 5.
Why, goodness, that is wonderful.
You should keep
that is
a couple like pieces of wood that you can smack together for that.
Dude, that's a good note. I super should. That would be so cool. All right, so you have potentially gotten a hit. Now you need to roll your D4 effect die to see how that comes out. Do not roll a 1. Yes, 2. Okay.
So I got hit. I got beamed.
You did. You got beat. So you go to the full count. Halbone is at this point, he's been throwing heat. You knocked out, you fouled off 1, and then he threw 3 straight balls to fill up the account. And then he tried to come inside on you. You leaned into it just a little bit and pop, got you in the left shoulder. Wait, are you a right-hander or left-hander batter?
I think I bat both ways, but I was batting righty at this point.
Okay, cool. So yes,
is he righty or lefty, the pitcher?
He's now a lefty because I wanted you to bat right-handed, so he's a lefty. Actually, let me look at my thing. I did have it right down. So rather than making stuff up, Rich will go look at the thing where I wrote down the character. He is a righty, so you were batting left-handed.
Okay.
Cool. So you got hit in the right shoulder. You get to take your base.
Attaboy, Danny!
Smattering of applause. The Scots are all excited for your success. And then next, Hobie the Nibbler Harris comes up to bat. It seems that your coach, your manager, Michael Hernandez, who's an ex-catcher, has a lot of faith in Hobie at this point. Even though Hobie's given up 5 runs, he is not pinch hitting for him. As you are sitting in the dugout, let's see, I would say that Hugo, you're sitting in the dugout at this point. JJ, you're we have you in the next at bat, right? You're taking some practice.
Yeah, on deck.
Yeah, you're on deck. But Hugo, you are in the dugout, and a couple of your teammates are like, why isn't Mike taking him out? Why isn't Mike taking him out? Come on, Hugo. Hey, say something to Hernandez, man.
I think Hugo is like really nervous and like squares his shoulders out and is like, yeah, you're right. You think I should say something?
Yeah. Cato's good, man. He's been hitting the ball really sweet. We could have him pinch hit, and we could bring in somebody else. I mean, you know that Chaz Zaber, he's been throwing hard, so we could bring him in. I don't know why his coach is asleep at the wheel. Just tell him.
Yeah, all right.
Cool.
Sorry.
That's good. So you hop up off the bench. It's a concrete dugout, right? You got a railing that you're right up by the field. You could easily run on. And down at the other end of the dugout is Mike Hernandez with his pitching coach. The 2 of them are leaning up against the railing. They're chewing a bunch of sunflower seeds. There's like this pile of sunflower seeds on the grass in front of them where they just chew and they spit out the shells. And Mike Hernandez is in his 50s. He's been involved in baseball for as long as you've been alive or so. That's what he's told you. And you, the star hitter, best hitter on the team, is what you tell people, right, Hugo? You head up to chat with him. He looks over. Yeah. Hugo?
So, Nibbler, huh?
Yeah. Why? Don't you have faith in him?
Oh, yeah, sure. Just, you got to think about it like strategic level, right? It's not about faith, right?
He pauses. He glances over at the pitcher who's got to be in his 70s. I want you to roll leadership. So go ahead and roll a D20. You've got the backing of a few of your team members, but they're not exactly going to take the heat for you. So you're out on your own. So roll a D20. You need to roll an 8 or lower.
I rolled a 4 somehow.
These dice are loaded. So Hernandez, he looks over at the pitching coach, Jose Rosado, and he says, "What do you think, Jose?" Jose's like, "You could put in Chaz." And yeah, go ahead, ring him up. And so a bear is called on so the pitching coach, Jose Rosado, he walks over to, they've got a little phone that goes back to the area where the pitchers will roam out, the bullpen, right? And he gets on the phone and he kind of starts calling up, and then Hernandez looks around and he looks down all the guys that have been sitting there waiting to come in, and Gosuke Kato, who's your Japanese guy who does not speak much English, he says, "Kato!" And Kato hops up and he just grabs a bat really quick out of the rack and runs up, and unfortunately the nibbler is taken out, and some kind of like Japanese techno music is played as Gosuke comes up to take his swings. Now, do you guys want me to determine it, or would somebody like to roll leadership to kind of sub in for the at bat for Gosuke?
My leadership ain't that good.
I know. You guys aren't really big leaders. We've already had Hugo make his leadership. So I'll just determine that Gosuke, he takes a couple of hard swings. He is he's a spray hitter. He's not a power hitter. And after the second swing, he fouls one off. Well, you're standing there on first base, Danny. Third base coach gives you the sign. Starts rubbing his arms. He gives you the sign to steal on the next pitch.
Okay.
So with 2 strikes, you have been told to try to steal a base. What would you like to do?
I'm going to go for it.
Awesome. So I will set a challenge rating for this. The catcher behind the plate is no slouch. And so your challenge rating is a 2. Julian Leon is the catcher, and he's going to try to throw you out. So in order to steal a base, you have to roll speed, and your challenge rating is 2. So what is your speed rating?
My speed is, 15.
Okay. So the 2 means you have to roll under a 13. Good luck.
Okay.
Now, before he does that, you see on line 12, there's a thing called teamwork pool. We haven't talked about that stat before. On a teamwork pool, you as a player character have the opportunity to help someone with their die roll. If you choose to spend a teamwork pool, you tell me how in the fiction your character is helping out. It could be yelling encouragement, putting on the rally cap, giving suggestions, or other things if you get super creative. And then you allow that player to roll with advantage.
I would love to help out with Danny Boy's base stealing. We've been working on different sliding techniques, looking at which side the infielder's taking the ball, sliding to the other side, getting your hand in under the glove.
Beautiful. Cool. So it can be a little bit of a flashback, or maybe you call out that advice. Go ahead and mark your teamwork pool down to a 0. Now, fear not. Teamwork is easy to get. For those who are fans of Lady Blackbird like me, all you need is a refresh scene. Or you can also refresh your teamwork pool by having a conversation with any member of the media where you pump up another team member. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to build up the teamwork pool. And it starts at 1, but it doesn't stay at 1. You could take it to 2 to 3 if you're really crazy like that. You get to roll with advantage for Danny Boy. Roll 2d20 and take the lowest. You're trying to roll under a 13 or 12 or lower is all you need.
10.
A 10. All right. So you take off as it's a high ball. And Gosuke swings at it because he thought this was supposed to be a hit and run. And unfortunately, Julian Leon, he pops up, grabs some fires. You can hear the ball. You can hear the spin of the ball as it comes across. And the shortstop comes over and he tries to sweep tag. Are you kind of person who feet first, or are you a head first slide kind of guy?
Yeah, I think I'm a head first and off to the side a little bit. And I extend my arm and I kind of catch the bag, and my body like spins around.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, and he sweep tags where you would have been if you just come down in a regular headfirst slide, but you get around that tag and the green right behind the visitors' dugout. They go crazy, right? You just stole second base. Unfortunately, Ghost K is out. So there's one out, but a man is in scoring position. And you guys, those people who are listening at home, Jane Forrester, the K-Gob radio announcer, she's freaking out about the beautiful steal. She says, that's textbook. That's textbook. They need to call him up. They need to call him up right now. He could be a specialist. We need to bring him off the bench, and the gods would love to have him, but we've got him right now. And everyone's still cheering as the beginning of some synthesizer music happens, because now it is Whitesnake's Here I Go Again on my own. Yep. And everyone thinks of Tawny Katane and how wonderful that video was, and then how she got a little interesting later in life, and then we move on. And so you come up to bat, and you got one man on second base, one out, and Kyle Halbone, who is laboring a little bit. And Julio Leon heads up and talks with him for a little bit. The two of them talk the mound. And the umpire comes forward and he brushes off the plate. And then Leon comes back and he says, how you doing, JJ? So he squats down behind the plate.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Good. Hey, man, Kyle's going to be throwing some heat. I hope you can keep up with it.
Don't worry about me. Sorry for what I'm about to do to your lead here.
We see, man. We'll see. So what would you like to do? Do you want to try to hit it where they ain't? Do you want to hit for a power, or would you like to try to steal a base or with a bunt? Or
if I can just steal right now, that would be
you can
great.
steal first, but you have to put the ball in play.
Then if I can do that successfully, I get him on third with one out. That would be nice.
I'll spend a teamwork too here to help you out with whatever you're doing if you need it.
Ooh.
Oh, if we want to do that, then I'll just hit it where they ain't. Because if I get to double up. What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you going to do?
I'm gonna straight up swing.
Oh, that's beautiful. Great. So, what is it that we see from Danny Boy as you encourage? What is it that we see you doing?
So I think I take a kind of a good size lead off second, and I give him you got this wink. Like, we've been in this position before. And it's actually this is the little ritual, because I'm superstitious. So I kind of do this and I give the wink, and it's always worked.
It's always worked. I love it. Cool. So you get
never mind the fact that you just stole second and the pitcher is worried about your speed as well, and you're literally distracting him. It's definitely the wink that's going to make this.
I can get back. I can get back if I need to.
Listen, he's got pure science on his side. All right, go ahead and roll 2d20. You need to roll under your hitting. Your hitting is a 9, so you need to roll 8 or less. With
8 or lower is what we're hoping for here.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
We're not getting it.
Okay, so
you didn't wink back. You didn't wink back.
Dang it, JJ. Cool. So Kyle actually he throws inside. Right. And after watching Danny get beamed, you think that there's a free base coming your way, but then it just barely touches the corner of the plate. And that is the third strike. You did take it to a 2-2 count. But then he struck you out. And the scouts, they're throwing popcorn. They're mad. That was a home call. Umpire's a homer. He's a homer. They're throwing popcorn and they're very upset. But now there are 2 outs. And now we come to Hoi Jun Park is up to bat with 2 outs and a man on second. Hoi Jun Park, who's committed 2 errors. This is the worst game of his career at the worst possible time. And now he has the chance to maybe be a hero. Does anyone want to try to roll, or shall I determine what Hoi Jun Park does?
Is that the leadership?
Yes, it is.
What the heck?
All right. Be a leader.
So I think as I'm walking back after striking out, he's coming up from the on-deck circle. So I'm like, it's up to you now, Hoy. You got this, man. Give him a pat on the butt because we're ball players.
Yeah, it's totally cool. And Hojun Park, who is like 5'5", Korean little speedy guy, very sure hands, but then 2 errors, so maybe not perfect. He will come up to bat. He's got a little tiny, like 20-ounce bat, and he waves it up. Like, he gets a lot of walks, you know. So go ahead and roll that D20 and see if you can roll underneath your leadership. You need an 8 or less.
6.
Oh my goodness. Cool. So he pops the ball up, and it's one of those where the ball's high and there are 2 outs, Danny. So the third base coach is telling you, like, go, go, go. So you take off, ball's high up in the air. Shortstop, left fielder are both coming towards the ball, right? One's calling the other off, and it drops right in the middle. The left fielder fields it cleanly, and he is throwing it home, and the third base coach has told you to go home. He is screaming at you to run for all you're worth. I need you to make a speed test. The challenge rating here is a 1. So with your 15 speed, you need to roll less than a 14. Is that a 10 that I see? You're muted.
It was a 10 before, and I re-rolled it to 13.
Oh, that is like the top that you could have possibly rolled.
That was close.
Ball's coming in. You don't have time to look back. But the catcher, Leon, he sets up. He's got this smile like it's right here. You know, he's got his he's already thrown his mask off. He's squatted right in front of him. He's getting ready. He's going to make that tag. How do you get around that tag?
I think this, like, as soon as he gets it, I'm just right there and just plow into him. And the ball
nice. Oh, you knock him over and he drops the ball. Oh, yes. There we go. You knock him over. He drops the ball. And now on the top of the 6th, the Gauntlet City Goblins have scored their 5th run. It is now tied. And during that, Hojun Park, he skittered his way to second base. And so now with 2 outs in the top of the 6th, Hojun Park is on second. And we hear, I get knocked down, but I get up again by tub thumping. Echoes in the concrete stadium as JJ comes up to bat. As Hugo comes up to bat, the legendary hitter who's broken several batting average records for the Goblins this season alone. And it is all on your shoulders, no pressure. What do you want to do, Hugo?
Yeah, Hugo. I think Hugo is like, this is the moment. Like, this is the moment, and he's not. I'm trying to find the thingo, but yeah, no, I think he's really tempted. He wants to try and like hit it, but then he hit it to get the second base and the runner all the way home. But then I think he pulls back at the last moment and he's like, no, I can't take that risk. So he's just going to hit the thing.
Awesome. Yeah, you did get the sign to swing for the fences and you decide not to chance it. So you're going to go ahead and just roll a single D20 and you're trying to roll under 15. So 14 or less, and you are able to get a hit.
Five.
A 5. Man, these dice, they are wonderful for you. Cool. So you roll 5. Awesome. Go ahead and roll your effect die now. Because you're a first baseman, your effect die is a D10. Pretty awesome.
Yay.
5. Okay. So if you take a look on game time, I do have those effect dies. And with a 5, you get a double. So you knock the ball, and it for a second there, it feels like it's a home run. Like you felt that, you heard that sweet smack of the wood on the ball. You see it travel. I'm curious, when it feels like it's a home run, is Hugo the kind of person to stop and enjoy the moment, or does he hustle it out towards first?
He stops and enjoys the moment usually. but he's in a different headspace today. And I think because everyone's here and this game is so important that he just wants to get on with it. He's not going to feel happy until he's touched the home plate.
Awesome. So yeah, you leg it out, and you could have maybe gotten a triple, but the ball bounces and it actually goes up and over and is what's called a ground rule double because it goes out of the field of play and it did bounce inside. Then you get second base and you got an RBI. You batted in that run. Your second baseman, poor Hoi-Jin Park, is able to reclaim a little bit of glory that he's lost with those 2 errors, and you are the one who knocked him home. You guys now have taken the lead. It is 6-5. And we go into Daniel Barrios, who is the cleanup hitter, as you're standing on second. Now, third base coach is telling you not to steal. You are not known for your speed. You're an average runner. So he's like, the steal sign is not on. Are you obeying that, or are you going to go crazy? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I know I'm going to stick with it. I know I'm not very fast.
All right, cool. So then let's go ahead and have Danny Boy roll to see what happens with our next at bat from Daniel Barrios. Go ahead and roll leadership, Danny. I know it's terrible that I chose you, but I'm just doing it.
That's a 19.
That's a 19. So Halbon is taken out of the game, and a relief pitcher is brought in, Connor Riley. Connor Riley is probably going to put you on base at some point, Danny Boy, because he is a wild pitcher. He throws 99 miles an hour. And unfortunately, you guys unable to catch up with it. And Daniel Barrios goes down on strikes. In fact, he is caught looking, his bat on the shoulder. And that is the end of the top of the 6th inning. And you guys do have the lead. So a lot of applause from the Goblin fans as you guys head back to the visitor dugouts, grab your gloves, and head back out into the field. Now, with this game, we kind of play by highlights. We're going to skip ahead a little bit to the top of the 8th. And it turns out that no one has scored by the top of the 8th. And now we jump straight in to the top of the 8th. There are 2 outs. And Danny, you come up to bat. Alexander Palma, your right fielder, is on third base. There are 2 outs. And they have, of course, it's been 2 innings. So Connor Riley, he is no longer there. But Luis Madero is the pitcher. He is a curveball specialist. He is very good at making pitches that look like they are going to be balls, but turn out they are not. And so you have 2 outs, and you have 1 person on third base. If you get any kind of hit, you guys can add a little bit of insurance to that lead. What would you like to do, Danny Boy?
I will just go for a hit.
Okay.
Hit it where they ain't.
All right. Go ahead and roll the D20 and try to get underneath a 10 or less is what you need.
A 20.
A 20. Okay. On a 20, you hit the ball, and you're running for first. And unfortunately, as you are running for first, you end up in a collision with the first baseman of the Pathfinders. I need you to roll the effect die because you get slightly injured.
A 1.
A 1. All right. So you take 1 hit point of damage. You should be you're at 10 hit points. So go ahead and mark yourself down to 9. And what did that injury look like when you kind of bumped into the first baseman? Didn't hurt too terribly much, but I'm just curious what it looked like for you.
I think we just, we collided. Both went down to the ground for, for a minute or so. And it was definitely like more of a shoulder to shoulder kind of like hit and spin and wipe out.
Cool.
Kind of thing.
And The crowd oohs and ahs. Pathfinder fans worried about their first baseman. The Goblin fans are worried about you. Roberto Baldalquin is the first baseman. He is a very good hitter, and so an injury to him would be a terrible, terrible thing. He is actually their cleanup hitter, which means he's the most powerful hitter on the team. Most likely, it's not always, but that's generally accepted. And you come out of that injury, but unfortunately, you were out, and that ends the inning. You guys swap out, and we go down to several moments later after there was there's an in between innings game where kids had to like put on these mascot costumes and race to second base. And one of the kids didn't get completely dressed in the mascot costume. He has the hat on backwards, right? So the snout of the dog is going the other way, and it's kind of bouncing up and down, and he's trying to run. He ends up tripping over second base, and so he loses. The other kid does win the Galarian Pathfinders baseball card game, which is currently a successful Kickstarter. No, wait, we're in the 80s or 90s. It's a home game. It's a card game. Cool. So the bottom of the 8th, Galarian Pathfinders are up to bat. And Baldaquin, proving that he is not injured, is up to bat. And on the second pitch, he clocks a hit, and you feel it, JJ. You feel it immediately. You just have that sense for the ball. It is headed for the fences. What do you do?
I'm catching that thing.
All right.
I turn on the afterburners, calculate my angles. I've played in the Pathfinder's Park before, so I'm not a stranger to the outfield wall and all the strange crenellations they put in to try to throw people off. So I got an angle on this thing. I'm going to run it down.
All right. I love it. So here's what you need to do. I want you to make a speed test to get to the ball. And if you're successful in getting to the ball, then you can make a fielding test with advantage. Because not only do you have to get there, you got to climb that fence and catch the ball. Perfect timing.
All right. So I got to do speed here first.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, you're very fast.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my skill set. Oh, I am just that fast. 14.
Nice. Cool. So you speed along. You can actually, you feel your cleats in the grass, and then you feel that 1 step, 2 step on the warning track where it's dirt, and you start to climb the wall. You can see the black dot of the ball heading over. They're Pathfinders. There's one guy with his beard who's like coming over the fence, possibly. Maybe he's trying to catch the ball too. He can interfere with you. We're not sure. I want you to go ahead and roll your field. You get to roll with advantage.
That is a good thing given my fielding. Here goes. Hey, got it by the
wow, an 18 and an 8. That is exactly it. So what's it look like when you steal that home run from Baldaquin?
So I think it was so close because the guy is kind of leaning out a little bit. I don't know if they would call fan interference in AA. I'm not sure how close an eye they have on.
It's Galarian, and they're a little bit of home crowd there, so maybe they wouldn't have called it.
And I leap up, get the angle, get one hand up, go up, hit his beer as I'm going for it, and it scatters all over us. And I snow cone the ball. It hits the wall, almost falls out as I go down and land in a somersault.
Oh my goodness!
I'm up on my knees, showing it to the fans over the visiting dugout because my likability is all right.
Yes, that is awesome. Yeah, you show it to you know what? That is such an amazing play. I want you to roll likability with advantage. If you are successful here, that will be one of the highlights. Yep, there'll be a
it's a web.
Yeah. This is 80s, 90s, so they actually still have, ESPN actually shows, highlights from sports rather than talking about sports.
Oh yeah, easy, both under the likability.
Fantastic. K-Gob is going to definitely interview you after the game about that one as you stopped a home run. We fast forward another couple outs. There are 2 outs. The Pathfinders are still at bat. It is the bottom of the 8th. And the rather fast Artemis Kadakian hits one right to you, Danny Boy. And he is speedy. There are 2 outs. If you can get him right now, making this routine play, which means you get to roll regular fielding, then that will be the end of the bottom of the 8th.
All right, here we go. An 8. What's my fielding?
Fielding is an 8.
Oh no!
Oh no! So, if you would like to roll with disadvantage, our first baseman Hugo, Danny Boy throws the ball. He's thrown it in the dirt. You're gonna have to stretch out so you got 1 foot planted on first base. The speedy second baseman from the Pathfinders is blazing down the path, trying to get on first base. And if you want to try to dig that out, I'll let you roll fielding with disadvantage. And if you are successful, then he will be out, and that will be the end of the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, Hugo is going to give it a go, even though he can already sense that this is destined for an epic failure. He just wants to have his moment, damn it.
Let's see how this goes. Oh, did you roll? Oh, wait, is it down there at the bottom? You're rolling 2d20.
Yeah, sorry, I split them, but disadvantage, so I got 19.
Oh, man, you got a 3 to 19. So you try to dig that out, and unfortunately, is just not in time. The ball bobbles a little bit, and all of a sudden, the first base ump says that Artemis Kadakian is safe, and he is on first base. So we go one more batter, and what happens with that next batter is that Kadakian decides to try to steal second. It is on you, our wonderful shortstop, Danny Boy, as your catcher, none other than Brick DeVore, who's got a pretty good arm. He's up, tossed his mask back, and he fires one to you. But you need to tag out Artemis there. So why don't you go ahead and roll fielding to get him out?
And 1 second here. I can can I roll? Can I use my special feature where I roll testing, roll advantage testing, fielding for an astounding play, but must roll an effect die for injury?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So what the special feature is, you can roll with advantage when testing fielding for an astounding play, getting this guy out, but then you're going to get, you do it knowing you're going to get injured. You're going to get spiked, right?
Okay.
This guy, as he's sliding, he's going to spike you.
All right, here we go. No! 19 and a 15.
Wow. If only you guys were rolling to hit stuff in a D&D game, it would be great. But unfortunately, he is on second base. So
I'm going to roll my effect die.
Yeah, go ahead and roll your effect die. He did spike you.
A 1 again.
Okay, cool. Man, you are tough. You're a tough little bugger. Do we see the blood on your shin from when he spiked you with those metal spikes on his cleats?
Yes, but not immediately. It's kind of like it looks like I'm okay, but then like after a few minutes, like my shin is turning red. Like my white. Are our socks white?
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah, so it's like definitely like, you know, I've got a big red patch now.
Ooh, nice, nice, nice. So Stephen Wren comes up to bat because they are at the bottom of the order. And Stephen Wren knocks second pitch out into the outfield. And JJ, you could get to it. Or you can, if you want, if you trust your left fielder, Dalton Blazer, you can go ahead and let him try to snag that and end the inning. What do you do?
So is it just a pop-up?
Yeah, it's a pop-up.
I don't want to step on Blazer's toes. I mean, if it's in contested territory, after you've waited the center fielder. But if
of course, it's in contested territory.
Well, I probably ought to take care of this then.
All right, then. Cool. It's just a pop-up. So go ahead and make a fielding test. You get a +1 to the challenge rating. So, or basically a +1 to your stat. So you just need to roll a 9 or less. This is an easy pop-up.
Yikes. That's less than a 50% chance. It doesn't feel like an easy pop-up.
I know. I'm so sorry.
All right, let's get one of these. Go. No, don't roll them both. Oh, it's a 10. Should let Dalton do it. Our defense, it needs work.
Yeah, so you nestle under that, and Blazer did not hear you try to call him off. So he comes railing in, and you catch the ball, and he bumps into you, and the ball pops out. And unfortunately, that means that you didn't catch it. And so we have two guys on, a man on first and a man on third. And the Pathfinders with 2 outs are about to score. They're back to the top of the order. And Juan Moreno, the speedy shortstop, comes up to bat. And he very quickly, very first pitch, he knocks a grounder that you are going to have to make some kind of showy play, Danny boy, or they are going to score. And they may score 2 if you have bad luck. So you've got a defensive opportunity here. What are you doing, Danny boy?
All right, so I'm looking at this. I might do this where I can roll with, what is it? May test likability instead of fielding when making a showy defensive play.
All right, let's see you do it.
Okay.
Good thing you're likable.
Oh, can I? Oh, wait, you've already rolled. Never mind.
Yeah, I just rolled a 9.
Oh,
So, wait, it's a 9 because I'm rolling with, so that was my likability is 12. So yes, that worked.
It's a good thing you made a showy defensive play.
Yeah.
Is it one of those where you like stretch out and you're almost like parallel to the ground kind of thing, or what is it that we see on that?
Yes, I dive and I stretch out. My toes are pointed. My arm is like fully extended. I'm completely like parallel to the ground, and just like a couple feet off the ground.
Oh, it's amazing. And even the Pathfinders are clapping. Some of the people in the stands are like, wow, that was really great play. That was definitely a highlight reel kind of play. And you guys end the inning, and it turns out that was the last of their big thrusts to score. You guys don't score in the 9th. They don't score in the bottom of the 9th either. And you guys end up winning the game 6-5. So what we do now at the end of a game is you guys hit the showers, of course, and it's an away series. So you're in Galarian, the shining coastal city of Galarian. But you have the opportunity, if you wish, to allow yourself to be interviewed on KGOB, the local Goblins radio station, from star reporter Jane Forrester, who is a huge fan of the Goblins. And if you want, that is an opportunity for you to rebuild or increase your teamwork pool. And the way you do that is by talking up your teammates and the overall team. Right? You can also talk primarily about yourself, and there's no mechanical benefit to it. But if you want, you can make a likability test, and that could oh, good question. Who got RBIs? So I know that Hugo got an RBI.
Okay.
And since you guys have scored previous runs, like you scored a total of 6 runs, so you can assign those to whomever you wish.
I can't remember. Hugo either got the tying or the go. I think the tying, and then Daniel got the go ahead, maybe.
Believe that is how it went.
Was it the other way around?
Well, Danny would have gone first.
Danny got the tie, and then Hugo got
Hugo knocked Hoyjun Park around to take the lead, if I remember correctly.
Oh, because Hoyjun Park got the hit that tied it, and then Hugo got the go-ahead. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Wow. This is probably where I should note to self, write down the stuff that happens. So many things.
You got to get a little box score for this.
Right? I do. It seems that I do. It's so much easier when you just look at it online, and MLB just tells you all those things, and you can look it up yourself. But I'm lazy, so I got to figure out a different way. Cool. So you want to talk to Ms. Forrester?
Yeah, I know you were saying I made that catch, so she would be coming
Oh yeah,
looking. So yeah.
you'd have to duck her. You could if you wanted to. If you wanted to.
No,
duck
not at all. No.
her. Okay, cool.
Definitely
So
you get FaceTime, get on the affiliates and hope they see me in the bigs.
exactly. She stands out in the concrete hallway that is just outside of the locker room where you guys visiting locker room are able to shower and change. You guys are staying at a decent hotel, not far from the stadium's walking distance if you so choose. No such thing as Uber because we're in yesteryear, so you could take a cab if you wanted. And of course, there are some nice bars around the stadium. So I imagine that in the aftermath, Mike Hernandez, your manager, talks up a little bit, talks a little bit about his concerns about defense, but the hitting was good and timely. And he says, "We guys going to have to work on the outfield signs a little bit and make sure that we straighten all that up." Then you get a tap on your shoulder from Brick DeVore. JJ says, "Hey, Jane wants to talk to you. You ready for an interview?"
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Okay. Well, Brick is your catcher. He's kind of the leader on the field. He wears the tools of ignorance, is what they call the catcher's mask and the overall protective gear. You head out, and Jane is waiting for you. She's got the the microphone with KGOB on it, and she is recording live. And as you step out, and here we are. One of the heroes of the Gauntlet City Goblins, none other than JJ Hawk, our star center fielder. Oh my goodness, great batting and an incredible play. Could you walk us through a little bit about that home run that you stole from the Pathfinders?
Oh, thank you, Miss Forster. So good to talk to you again. It was all about preparation. Mike really sat us down and let us know the tendencies of the batters, and we studied as an outfield together what the outfield was like. We knew the angles of the outfield, so it was just a matter of getting there at that point and being fast and being lucky, which is pretty much how I've planned my career out. Those two attributes gotten us this far, but what got us the win was Hugo's timely hitting there, knocking Hoy Jun in. That's why we got the W today.
Okay. Well, thanks. I really appreciate you giving us some time. Now, talk to me a little bit about that bobble there in the eighth. That seemed like a bit of trouble. Was that a miscue there on the outfield side there?
Well, I was trying to call Dalton off, and that's on me because I was not clear enough to him. And he's like a dog with a bone. He sees a ball, he's going to go for it. And if I don't call him off forcefully enough, that's what happens. The good news is if he needs to take out a catcher, he can definitely do it. Dalton packs quite a punch. I will be in the ice bath for quite some time after this interview.
Awesome. Cool. Then go ahead and add one to your teamwork pool. Jane moves it along. Thanks you profusely for the interview.
Always a pleasure, Ms. Forster. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, JJ. There we go. JJ, you head on. You have a beer on us. The Goblins are one win better because of your efforts. Does anybody else who wants to be interviewed by Jane Forrester?
Hugo would like to be interviewed because he always would like to be interviewed, and he's kind of annoyed that JJ got us first.
That's true.
He was going to thank JJ, but now he's not going to.
This may not be a teamwork pool increase opportunity for you is what we're saying. Okay, awesome. Good. So you come out, Hugo. I'm curious, Hugo, do you actually get in your street clothes or do you come out for the interview in your jersey and stuff? Like, how do you
Hugo wears his jersey whenever possible.
Nice. Cool. So you head out. She's waiting in the hallway and she says, "Oh, Hugo Jensen, star first baseman. Wow, you really packed a wallop with that ground rule double. Talk to us a little bit about it. What was going through your mind when you had to face down the Kyle Halbone and was really throwing some heat?"
Yeah. And I think Hugo is still not good at this. And he's like, yeah, I just had to focus on doing the job, roll about that to make those hits. And I really wanted to get Park home, and that's what I was going to do. And I just want to thank my fans for being with me there in that moment.
Awesome, cool. I want you to roll likability with this now. You
Can I
get
use
to
my
roll,
thing to roll with
absolutely,
advantage?
yeah. As a first base, you get to roll with advantage when testing likability with the media.
Nope.
A big nope. All right.
Terrible answer.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. You got a 13 to 14. Awesome. She says, absolutely, absolutely. That is Hugo. Thank you so much. And she kind of brushes on, like moves on. Thank you so much. It was great having you on. Hey, could you ask if Danny Boy could come out? She shows a lot more interest in Danny Boy than you. What do you do?
I think Hugo is just sort of like gives it like a superfluous wave even after they try to get him off the camera, and then he goes back to find Danny, and this is okay because it's like the next one, so it's all right. So I think he's like, Danny, got some good news for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on the big go get interviewed.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah, that slide was something.
Yeah, look, tell me about it. And this bruise is new, and this bruise is new.
Oh yeah, you probably got some like strawberries on the underside of one of your arms from the slide, and then you got cleated on the shin. You look like
and he's like a fair-skinned redhead to begin with, so he just like he's just covered with bruises and scabs and.
Cool. So you head out and
I kind of put my cap back on and jog out there.
Cameraman from the local KGOB station is take a look at this. This is what we call a real warrior for our goblins. Danny Boy Sullivan. Boy, you really took a few for the team, not just one. Look at this. Can you show us your forearm?
Yeah, I got a few new bruises. It's really my shin that's took it the most, and kind of jack my pull my sock down. And
oh yeah, they she puts her hand in front of the camera. That's a little much. That's a little much for our viewers at home.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Wow, that is gory though. Trust me when I say, Goblin fans, that Danny Boy, I can't believe he's standing here talking to us. So Danny, talk to us a little bit about the game from your point of view. What were the highlights for you?
But it's just like a lot of things for us came together at the right time. And it's really two factors led to the win. And it's just on the score that was Hugo's last RBI, that put us ahead, and JJ's robbing the home run, that kept us ahead. And what happens at the beginning of the what do you call that? The score, like what do you call the thing with all the inning by scores?
Oh, box score?
Box score, yeah. What happens at the beginning of box score, doesn't decide the game. It's really the stuff that happens at the end. And like I said, a lot of things came together as a team. It clicked when it had to, and both Hugo and JJ, they stepped up and made the big play when we needed to.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Go ahead and increase your teamwork pool. Jane Forrester says, thank you so much. Man, go ahead and get bandage up, big guy, because we need you tomorrow night for the second game of this pivotal 3-game series. Thank you so much, Danny. And then she will start talking about getting Mike out there for the post-game press conference, and you get to head back in. There's a lot of levity going on in the locker room. You guys won. There's some talk between who's going out to the bar. Are you guys heading out to the bar?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to celebrate with the team.
All right, cool. What about Hugo? Is Hugo heading out to the bar after?
He'll come a bit later because I think he has to be nice to the Scots for a bit first.
Oh,
so
nice.
He said
nice.
they were there. Yeah.
Cool.
What about? It's an away game. Huh?
Yeah. What about Danny?
Yeah, Danny's gonna go to the bar.
Sweet. So
he's Irish. Of course, he's going to the bar.
You guys end up at a bar called 3.75. It's one of the Pathfinder's best bars near the stadium. and we will take a quick bio break here. What we're going to do when we get back is we'll play through that scene, but I want you guys to go ahead and go through the leveling process, which is pretty quick. So that's what we'll do when we get back. Let's take 6 minutes. So we're at 44 after, so we'll see you at 50 after.
Okay.
I can hear you, Dylan. There you are.
I pressed my my mic mute button instead of the camera, but instead of clicking on the mouse to bring the camera back up.
High tech. Love it.
Yeah, I got a last year, or it was like Christmas or Hanukkah. I got one of the blue, the Yeti blue.
I have a Yeti blue.
Yeah. How do I sound?
You sound good.
Yeah. It's this thing here.
Oh wow, the Yeti. I've just got the blue snowball. I like the Yeti. It's really nice. I covet your Yeti. Cool. Quick check-in. We've got a minute left before end of break. Any confusion, anything about this that you want to make sure I highlight or you're worried about? Anything is a problem that we want to address in the last hour here?
So I didn't have to roll for likability after my interview?
That's because you were specifically going for teamwork.
Oh, okay.
The only reason that I had our first baseman do it is that he mostly talked about himself and was trying to increase his prestige, which doesn't have a mechanical impact, but, it's a thing.
It's right. It failed abysmally anyway. As it rightfully should.
Well, sure. If we want to be moralistic, I guess so. Cool. So you go out to talk to the Scots. It's a brief conversation because it's obvious to Jeff, who's a super fan, that the goblins want to go out and celebrate. So there's a couple hugs from Jeff and Hillary. Stephanie, who's in college and back visiting, what's the relationship between Hugo and Stephanie?
I think she's like a little bit resentful. I don't think it's a good relationship. I think she doesn't quite understand why her parents are doing this.
So she got drug along, kind of thing.
Yeah.
She's trying to spend time with her family, and they're fawning over you.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Is this a new thing, them being a host family now that she's gone to college, or is this something they've done on and off for a while?
Oh, I like that. So yeah, it's kind of new. So I think like I haven't seen Stephanie like that much, and it's always kind of super awkward, but I try and like be cool. Like I'm like, yeah, you want a hat? Like I'm awful.
That's great. Cool. Awesome. So yeah, you like offer her a hat and she says, it looks a little sweaty, but thanks. And then you're pulled along by Brick and the others. You turn to ruin your personal gym. That's great. You're just that kind of guy, Hugo. That is lovely. We pick up with you guys at 3.75, which is the Pathfinder bar that you guys have decided to head to. And at this point, everybody gets to go to second level. So go ahead and change your level, which is on row 5 to a 2. And you get to do a cool thing where you roll for stats. And if you take a look at the leveling up row 24, there are 2 stats so you get to roll with advantage. You get to roll twice, but based on your position. So what you do is you roll a d20, and if you roll higher than your stat goes up by 1. And if you, in the leveling up, says you get to roll twice for fielding or speed, Danny Boy, you get to roll 2d20. And if either of them are higher than your stat, it goes up by 1. Cool. So what I'm going to do is while that's going on, I'll just trust you guys to do it. We're going to do the scene at the bar. So I'm going to start off with JJ. What is JJ's general, like, how does he handle going to the bar with the other players? Most of you guys are of age and can legally drink. Some of you can't. And so you have to buy beers for them and sneak it to them because you're a team. How about JJ? Are you 21 or older?
Yes, just barely 22.
Nice.
But
still get carded, which makes you happy, right?
He's got a baby face. I think he's going to get carded into his 30s.
Nice.
Even at the places that only do it when they actually need to check. So he definitely takes like the role of host. Like, hey, what you drinking, man? Yeah, get you another one of those. One for every RBI you got today. Come on, man.
Nice. I love it.
Party going.
Good. That is fantastic. That's a really good opportunity to see a bit of your flavor. Now, it turns out not only is this kind of the home bar for a lot of the Pathfinder fans and not far from your hotel, but there are a couple of Pathfinders who come in later. Roberto Baldaquin, the hitter that you stole a home run from, as well as Julian Leon, the catcher, who maybe he's talking smack to you, maybe he's being polite, we're not sure. If those guys come in, they see you, they give a so-so wave, and then they head over to a table that's sitting right underneath like a Pathfinder signature character that's up on the wall. So what about Hugo? What is your general attitude when you come to the bar?
I think Hugo like really wears his thoughts on his face about the match. So I think like today, because they won and he did some good hitting. He's like fairly in a good mood, and he's like in the mood to like give people back praise if they praise him. Like he just wants to pump people up a little bit, but he can't help by being a little like dismissive of some of the like I think probably Park for like he probably bags him out for the errors that he made, even though Hugo made one later in the game.
Nice. Park is super humble, and yeah, he apologizes. He apologizes to the whole team at the bar. He buys a round for everybody to try to make up for it. And yeah, he very sorry. Won't happen again. And so what about Danny Boy? What is his general attitude at the bar?
So I think Danny Boy's he's pretty happy. He kind of just feels like the atmosphere around him, and if everyone around him is kind of happy, he's pretty happy. He's a little bit in pain, still a little sore and stuff like that, but he's two fisting the Zimas, so he's happy.
Oh, Haley, I'm sure you don't know what a Zima is, and that's okay. It's like a malted liquor of some kind that's tastes almost like a Sprite. It's really tasty. It's great. I love Zimas back in the day.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, are they even still around?
I don't think so. I think
they've gone away. A comeback, but then maybe they went away again. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they should do a Kickstarter. I don't know. Cool. That is fantastic. Now, do any of you have particular scenes in mind with other teammates or any conversations that you want to have?
I would like to stop by the Pathfinder's table.
Nice. Oh, real quick, it looks like some stats have changed. Everybody's rolled all your stats to see if they increase. Looks like we got some good increases from you guys. Very exciting. Head over to Baldoquin and Leon's table, and they are sharing a pitcher of beer. It's it's domestic draft, and they see you walk over. It's hard to be secretive about it. Baldoquin says, "Son of a bitch."
It's the way it goes, man. Let me buy you something after stealing from you earlier, huh?
See you test likability.
Am I going to get punched in the face?
I don't know.
Let's see. Oh, it's a 20.
It's a 20? Oh, that's it. Yeah. You had the best of intentions, but something you said touches him off. Go ahead and roll an effect die. I'll take one off of that minimum one as he punches you right in the face.
Is my effect has a 1d6?
Should be.
Yeah, he's been scuffling a little at the plate. He really needed that. And I didn't. Oh, okay. I got a 3.
Okay, so you take two hit point of damage as he punches you, socks you right in your cheek. And he was wearing a ring. It hurts, and doesn't knock you to the ground, doesn't knock you out, but it is definitely rough. And Leon, he is right there. He did not see this coming, even though he's a catcher. He should have read this room better. But Baldoquin is a hothead, and so he punches you really hard, and then he's like fists up, like, "Come on, let's go! Come on, let's go!"
Oh, if he punches me hard, I'm down. Like, I am not a tough guy. I have 4 hit points. That was half of it right there.
And as he's going, "Come on, let's go."
Yeah.
Danny comes out flying about perfectly parallel to the ground, about 3 feet off the ground, and just dives and tackles him and starts wailing on him.
Oh, that's amazing. Bam, you slam into him, knock him to the ground. Leon's trying to pull you off. No. A couple other teammates jump on Leon. It's starting to get ugly because they're way outnumbered. Hugo, what are you doing? Park is sitting there right by you. He's like trying to read. What do you do? Because he doesn't understand what's going on here.
Yeah. Hugo doesn't want to get into the fight because it's going to look bad if the press get wind of it and like see all of this. And he's got his clean image to like maintain. So I think like I think he thinks about trying to break it up, but I think he decides not to, and he just sort of like just watches it but gets a good distance away so that it's clear that he's not part of the fight.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, so you don't even try to pull people off of each other. You just hang back.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be associated with this.
Sweet. All right. So Day Boy, you come in. You've got your guys back, and Leon's trying to yank you off of his buddy Baldoquin. Are you trying to hurt? Do you want to try to hurt Baldoquin here?
Yeah, I think Danny was the youngest of 5 brothers, so or 4 brothers, so youngest of 5. So he knows he's got to put the whale on while you can.
Oh yeah, sweet. So off the field, speed is for something physically dangerous or challenging being avoided or dodged. But off the field, someone with a high hitting is sharp-witted or perceptive. So how do you think that you are trying to take Baldoquin down here?
Oh, I think hard hitting, speed.
Okay.
I'm throwing punches left and right as fast as I can.
Sweet. You're a very fast person. So go ahead and make a speed test.
Okay.
And you get to roll your effect die. We'll see how bad you take Baldoquin out.
So it's a 2.
Oh wow. That is pretty terrifying.
Yes. And a 1 again.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a lot of flurry. It definitely hurts him. It's not going to knock him out for tomorrow. Does he end up with a fat lip or a shiner or maybe some other kind of injury from the punches? What do we see for Baldoquin?
I think they were mostly body blows. So maybe his ribs are a little like nothing to actually see, but I'm sure his ribs are a little painful.
Awesome. So eventually this fight breaks up. I think Brick DeVore, your catcher, is the one to offer you a hand up, JJ. And Baldoquin and Leon are escorted outside. There's like a bouncer comes in, kind of walks them out. You see there's like backslapping going on. Say, we're just there to save you, buddy. Don't worry. They're outnumbered as those dirty goblins. And Brick says, man, maybe we should have come to a Pathfinder bar. Whose idea was this? Hugo, is this your idea?
They're all Pathfinder bars around here.
JJ, look after your face. We need you tomorrow. Maybe don't go like, I don't hear what you said to them, but maybe don't go saying shit.
Hey, I didn't even say my best line yet. That probably comes out like, oh, I'm doing you from a...
And he goes like, yeah, that's right. Like, thinks as you've agreed with him.
Hey man, if you get a scar, my brother John's a plastic surgeon. He can stitch that up for you.
Oh, he barely even hit me.
That's awesome. Cool. So yeah, the 3 of you guys are talking with the rest of your teammates, and Hugo, you didn't notice her before. She was sitting at the bar, but you know who saw this whole fight? Oh, it was Stephanie Scott. Evidently, she ended up at this bar, and she just saw this fight, and you do nothing. And she's sitting there with a little Mai Tai on a napkin. She just kind of shakes her head. What do you do?
I think Hugo has zero shame about not getting involved in the fight. I think he takes a seat next to her and is like, hey, what you doing here? If I knew you were gonna come, you could have come with me.
We don't really get along. I mean, especially after the whole thing that you did to my room.
Oh, look, it's not really like you don't use it anymore, right? Like you're in college, right? You got a new life, right?
I am at the dorms. That's true, but I just didn't expect that Dad would do a whole makeover on the other room, my room. Are you okay? It looks like were you injured? Is that why you didn't get in on that?
What, the fight? You think all us baseballers going around punching each other? Nah.
Oh.
Hugo's definitely lying.
Okay. Okay.
Why? You know, you think there's something wrong with that?
Well, I just saw that big guy sucker punch one of your teammates. I thought you guys all had each other's. It's fine. Guys, violent stuff. It's fine. I don't understand the politics of your stuff anyway.
Look, it's clear you don't like me. We don't have to get along. We just, got to be civil, right? Jeff and I, we're tight. We're really, we get along really good, and just let that be.
Give me a likability roll on that. You'd roll a 10 or less for your likability, and this is not the media, so you just roll the 1d20.
6.
Nice. I guess so. I mean, just because my dad loves baseball more than the fact that I'm going to college, I guess I shouldn't hold that against you.
I'm sure he loves that too. But why can't he love both? Let me buy you a drink.
Nice. She's amenable to that. So we will fast forward past that. You guys have all made a level from being the Pathfinders. If only it were that easy all the time. So you guys are heading into the ballpark. It is a 1 o'clock game. You're supposed to show up at 10 o'clock in the morning to warm up and roll call. What do we see of Danny Boy as you are heading from the hotel to the stadium? Do you show your injuries, like you got a whole lot of bandages on, or do you look really drunk or hungover?
No, I think Danny Boy looks pretty. He puts his like warm up gear on over him to cover up any of the bruises and stuff like that. So for the pregame, but he definitely has like his yellow sports Walkman in, and he's listening to Bon Jovi.
Nice. What about JJ? What do we see when you're heading into the ballpark this fine?
Some significant swelling, disfiguration in the face area. Otherwise, pretty okay. And I think he took extra care to dress in his nicest semi-clean outfit. Like, we're not rolling a dough here in the minors, but this is the nicest outfit he can have to try to offset the little injury on his face.
Nice. That is fantastic. And then last but not least, what do we see of Hugo?
Yeah, I think Hugo similarly looks cleaner than usual. He's trying to look bright. He's gotten up early, which is something he almost never does. And I think he's full of swagger as he walks. He's trying to pump himself up.
Nice. So you guys arrive on scene. There's a bit of worry about your injuries, JJ, but you don't have to get put on the IR. Once you get so much injuries, you would be taken out. But how do you?
Fine, Mike. I don't run with my face. We're good.
Hernandez is like, that's a good thing, man, because if you did, you wouldn't run so fast. Next time, maybe use that speed to duck or something. I don't know. Just a little personal advice. And it seems like he knows a little bit about the fight. Maybe he heard about it. But yeah, you guys line up. We skip ahead to the late part of the afternoon. It is the top of the 11th. And the score is tied 2-2. You guys take a look at game 2, starting at row 9 on game time. You'll see it. You guys scored a couple runs early, 3rd and the 4th, and looked good until the 5th when the Pathfinders rung one up and they chased your boy Jordan the Bus Foley out of the game. And relief was brought in, and things seemed okay until the bottom of the 9th. The Galarian Pathfinders scored, tied. They scored at the bottom of the 9th. They forced it to extra innings. Now it is the 11th, and you guys are up to bat. And none other than Danny Boy, yet again, is the person who's leading it off with no outs. Danny Boy, we hear Wanted Dead or Alive playing. The Pathfinders. It's a Saturday afternoon, so people rushing home after work. It's a very excited crowd. Very few have dropped out, even though it's all the way in the 11th inning. It's getting near supper time. A lot of people have been drinking for 10 innings. So there's quite a few people that are throwing things, getting a little bit rowdy. And they have, so far, around the 8th inning, they stopped running the in-between games with kids. Instead, they're doing like trivia questions, people in the audience. And a lot of the answers are drunkenly given and almost all wrong. So no one has gotten any gift certificates to 3.75, unfortunately. And you come up to bat. Now, Adrian Almeida is the person who's pitching for you guys. And there's a new substitute pitcher, relief pitcher by the name of, you've seen him before, Connor Riley, who's trying to shut you guys down in hopes that you guys can work stuff out and they can score in the bottom of the 11th. Connor Riley has a challenge rating of 3 because he is a wild fireballer. So again, you have the 3 choices in trying to obtain a hit. What would you like to do?
I'm just going to hit it where they ain't.
All right. Your hitting has improved, sir, and I'm pretty happy with that. Oh no, its hitting didn't improve. You had a few other stats improve, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, my leadership, I rolled a 6. I couldn't roll over a 6.
Couldn't roll over a 6. That is terrible. That is terrible. Do you recover any hit points? That is a great question. Go ahead and roll your recovery die.
Okay. And that's a.
You can't go over your max HP for your group, which means that if you rolled low for starting, so for example, Danny, the most hit points you could have are 12. And the most hit points that JJ could have is 10, and the most that Hugo could have is 12. So if you roll a recovery die and it takes you above your starting total, you can go above that. That make sense?
That you can or you can't go above it?
You can.
Oh, you can go above your starting total.
Yeah,
okay. So I rolled 3, so I can actually go up to an 11 now.
Yep. You're an 11. As long as you're not above your paying your hit point max, which is the starting HP.
Oh, my starting HP was 10.
Sorry. I'm not explaining this well at all.
Okay.
Your starting HP max would be 12.
Oh, I got it. Okay, I see. I get you there. Okay.
We're adding what we rolled to what we had? Okay. Oh, that's a much better situation. I should get punched in the face more often.
Right? And I am running that a little bit looser. Normally, you need to take a little bit of time off and stuff like that, but I think it's fun if we just go ahead and do that recovery. Engage that mechanic.
And is there a mechanic other than the swing for the fences to increase your effect die?
There is. I was trying to think about, do I allow teamwork pool to increase the effect die? Let me double check that real quick.
It's not a big deal. If you knew off the top of your head.
I mean, you swing for the fences is the #1 way to do it. And I was trying to see if there was teamwork to do effect die or if teamwork is only used. Let's go ahead and get you started because that's the effect die. So I'll have an answer for you in just a moment.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just do my regular swing for hit it where they ain't. And that's oops, wait, I didn't do that right. Reroll selected. 11. Uh-oh.
Yeah, with the challenge rating of 3.
Oh, wait, my hitting. Oh, so yeah, no, I missed.
You actually needed to roll below a 9.
Yep, and I rolled an 11.
Cool. So rolling 11, you do unfortunately strike out. And so then that is 1 out in the top of the 11th. We swing around to Adrian Almeida, who is the relief pitcher, but he is not batting now because they know they're going to bring him in at the bottom of the 11th. And so we're going to say that Terrence Robertson comes up to bat. Terrence Robertson, anyone want to roll leadership, or shall I determine what Terrence's fate is?
I don't know what gives us better odds with that. No one's good at leadership.
I know. That is definitely something to think about. All right. So it turns out that there are 2 outs when JJ comes up to bat, and the bases are clear as the fireballer Connor Riley has 2 Ks. In fact, you can see them up on the Pathfinder area. They put 2, Ks up, and they are hoping that he will strike out the side, which means he strikes out all 3 batters. And you are the 3rd batter, JJ, as you come up. Connor is, like I said, he's 6'8", terrifying, lanky guy, because he's all arms and elbows flying all over the place. It's like some kind of brand new retriever puppy, except the ball comes home really fast. So what do you want to do?
So I think it is time to engage special feature number 3. Once per game session, you can lay down a perfect bunt to move a base runner and get on base to steal.
Love it. Cool. So he fires one that would hit the outside corner. You turn around on it and just boom, lay that down, fire down to first. And with 2 outs, you are standing on first base, and people are taking their hats and they are turning them inside out and putting them a wrong way on their head, begging for a rally at this point, hoping you guys take up. Hoyjun Park comes up to bat. And as Hoy comes up, third base coach is already telling you to steal. Like he is giving, like they're not even playing around. And Leon, he like stands up as Riley's walking around the mound, and he points to you, like.
I hold up my hand like this and do a little running motion.
He does this, and then he just squats down. He is ready to go, man.
I throw down the 1 for a fastball. Like, you better, because
that's all Riley throws. So, it's going to be tough because he's going to get that to the plate in a hurry. Your best hope is that he throws something wild. And poor little Park, he comes up to bat. He stands there, all 5'5" of him, and very first pitch, you're told to go. You go.
All right, let's do it.
Your challenge rating is a 2 because Leon knows this is coming, and he hasn't asked for a pitch out because he is bold enough to actually just try to cleanly deliver this ball to the shortstop who's coming across to slap tag you. Go ahead and roll to test your speed.
The fool doesn't know that I roll with advantage when testing speed to steal a base.
He doesn't know that.
Get ready,
so you need to
Leon.
roll below a 15.
You should have got your man in check last night. I'm taking it out on you on the base paths.
Nice.
Woo! Thank goodness it was with advantage, because the first one was a 19, but the second one was a 10.
Cool. You stand up on second base. The throw was well behind you. The slap tag actually hit you on the back leg. You were already in the process of standing back up before the shortstop finished his tag. And that was a ball, actually. So Park is count is 1-0. And the third base coach looks at you and he gives you the steal sign.
That crazy man. Why would he want me to steal third with 2 outs?
I know. You do not end an inning with a man on second trying to steal. That is a stupid, stupid play.
So is the question, do I ignore his bad baseball instincts over there at third base? I can score on a single from second.
You're just that fast. You could. There's no advantage to this. You could ignore it if you want. You could even state your case to Hernandez.
Because I imagine the challenge rating is higher going into third.
Why, yes, it's a 3.
Yeah, but I'm a little bit of a showboat. I'm going to go.
Yes, you're crazy. It's all on the line here. It's the very second. Now, if challenge rating is 3, specifically because you're going to third, Leon thinks you're too smart for this. Otherwise, it would be a higher challenge rating. It's just more of a like, shit.
I definitely am too smart to do this.
All right, roll with advantage to steal a base.
So I need to be, it's a 3, so I need to be 13 or less, I think.
Yeah, you do.
A 2.
Oh my goodness, you're standing up on third. Oh, that is amazing. And then after stealing second and third, Um, Connor Riley it's now 2-0. And yeah, the crowd is mixed because the Pathfinders are they're booing at this point. They're booing Leon. And Connor Riley, he beans Park, nails him in the back. And there are a lot of boos. And Park, he's not the kind of guy to charge the mound. You are standing in the warm-up circle. You see this. You're next to come up to bat, Hugo, and you see Park get hit, and he stays down for a little bit, and he sits there, and then the trainer comes out, talks with him for a little bit, walks him towards first base. But he got hit in the back, so he's not limping, but he definitely looks like that hurt a lot. This is going to leave a mark. Now there's a man on first and third, 2 outs, and we hear tub thumping. Come on, tub thumping's I Get Knocked Down, playing over the speakers. Hugo's You Come Up to Bat.
Appropriate.
Get knocked down. That's right. You get up again. And Park is like clapping for you. He's all on base, even though maybe you're not the best team player. He certainly.
Park and I we've gotten over our moment yesterday where I didn't like him for no reason, and we're good again. Good again,
awesome.
Yeah, we had a good moment this morning.
He's 100% Hugo. He's all in Hugo's camp, and you come up to bat, and Connor Riley looks at you, and Leon says, "Hey Hugo, hey man, this is going to be a fastball. I don't think you can catch up to it."
Yeah, watch me.
Nice. Now, as a first baseman, you do have a special ability, but unfortunately, you guys are not behind, so that does not count. However, you do have another one, special feature number 3. I don't know if you want to nullify that challenge rating of 3 here from Connor Riley.
Why not? I'll go for it.
Cool. So what that means then is you will be rolling underneath your hitting. Now, do you want to swing for the fences? You are actually rolling the D10, which is already pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I think I'll just hit it where they ain't.
All right, go ahead and roll that D20.
Before you roll, though, if I give our teamwork to swing for the fences, then which would normally be a disadvantage, then that would just be a straight roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will. I'll spend a teamwork. When he was warming up, I gave him my lucky donut to warm up with.
Donut is like this weighted circle thing that you put on the bat to make it a little heavier when you do practice swings. Yes. You cannot eat it. It's
it even says Lucky and Sharpie on it.
Oh, that's awesome. You call it Lucky the Donut?
I think Hugo is legit touched by this. He's like, hey, thank you.
And I say, knock it out of there.
Yeah.
But make sure you wait till the 11th inning. And then
lucky you did that because I got a 15, which is just below my hitting.
Wow, good call. Oh man, that is awesome. Cool. So that is you're swinging for the fences, which means you go from a D10 to a D12. This could be pretty amazing. We'll see.
6.
Okay, when we take a look, a 5 to 6 is a double, which means that you easily score, JJ, and Park also scores, and then you end up on second base. It's amazing, Hugo. So was this a solid line drive, or was it one that kind of bounced in the corner? What did this double look like, you think?
I think it was. I think the ball that came in had a lot of power in it, and so it was a very just straight and fast.
Oh fast, yeah. We hear Jaron Forster go, "That is a bullet, a straight bullet," and it slams against the wall, It's just one of those that like never drops until it actually hits the back wall, and the bounce gets a weird carom off of the wall. Center fielder gets a bit mixed up, and you round first and come in standing up with a double, and you got 2 RBI for that. And now you guys are up by 2 in the top of the 11th. It is now 4-2.
I got to trash talk Leon on my way by after scoring.
Yes. What do you do?
Pick up the bat and say, "Hey, because I respect you, I didn't steal home."
Yeah, he curses at you in Spanish. Awesome. So then Daniel Barrios actually ends up trying to leg out a weak infield single, but he is out. And then we come to the bottom of the 11th. The Pathfinders are up to bat. And what we have is there's a pickoff play. So what happens is there is 1 out, and Juan Moreno is on first. And I'm sorry, not Juan Moreno. Yeah, Juan Moreno is on first. Whoops. And Adrian Almeida is the pitcher. He sees Juan. He starts getting nervous because Juan's a speedy little guy. And he throws it to first to try to pick him off. I need you to make a fielding play to get that out, Hugo, because it is not the best throw. There's a possibility that it could go a little wide, and you're going to have to chase after it. So go ahead and roll a fielding for me.
Absolutely not. I got an 18.
Got an 18. Awesome. So he sends a sailing, and it doesn't go out into the stands. It like bounces, it caroms off of the wall near the dugout, and you have to chase after it. And then he ends up on third base. So there's a man in scoring position, and none other than Jonah Todd comes up. And a couple pitches in, Almeida has a bit of a mistake pitch, and he sends it sailing into the outfield. It's sailing, but it looks like it's going to be a short one. It's in center field. You're going to have to really get on the hop to get in on that. I need you to make a speed test, but you're not going to have to also make a fielding test. If you can get to it, you can catch it.
All right. So this is not a long fly ball because this is shallow. So it does not trigger.
It does not trigger the
straight up speed. All right, I've been playing with fire with these speed rolls, let's see. Oh, let me double check my speed. I made it by the skin of my teeth.
You needed a 16 or less. You rolled a 16. That is beautiful. Yes, so you speed in, you catch that, and then he's going to try to score.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I need you to make a fielding test, see if you can get it home. Otherwise, he will score because there was just one out.
So that would be the second out that we got.
It would be a second out.
Okay. And if he scores, our lead's down to 1, which isn't fantastic. But I'm just wondering if anybody wants to help out with this, because I'm not great at fielding.
Yeah. Hugo will help out.
All right.
How are you helping with that one?
I think it's definitely like I think it's probably again like a before the match thing, where I'm trying to think of a way I could help. Maybe it is just like a look, and that's it. It's just like a look in the right place that might guide your eyes as you're moving or something like that.
You see how he's running in or something, and
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I like it. I buy it. Yeah, you're pulling for him, a little bit of spirit there. Hugo buying into the team. It's got to be worth something.
Yeah, it's so unusual that it actually has an effect.
This play is not involving you and you want it to go well? Surprising. Let's see if it does.
Nice.
Yes, it did.
Nice. So you roll a 4 and a 9. That is fantastic, because that 9 would not have been it, but rolling with advantage gives you exactly the edge you need. So what is it Ooh, here we go. So during the scramble, Danny boy, you end up being the cutoff guy. And so you come in close and you get a chance to cut it off and fire it home. Although this would have been cooler if you'd done teamwork, but you didn't have a teamwork pool. So we're just going to say that that's a thing. And I just want to involve another player character. Sorry, Keith. Cool. So what does it look like when you relay that throw home so the brick can tag him out? Is it one of those like turn and fire, or what does it look like?
Yeah, it was just a nice smooth like catch, and then almost with the momentum of the ball and just switching and then throwing.
Perfect. Love it. Yeah. And so the two of you guys work together. You hit your cutoff man exactly like you're supposed to do, especially after Hernandez told you hit your cutoff man after earlier, in the last game. He's like, you can catch whatever you want, but your arm's a little so hit the cutoff man. And Brick tags him out. And that is the end of the inning because they strike out on the third out. It's just an easy strikeout and you guys win. And so you end up winning.
Well, that was the last out, right? Because the second out was catching.
You're right. Yeah, that was the third out.
Literally the game-ending play. So yeah, I run over and jump into Danny's arms and head over to Brick and get everybody together. That's an exciting end to a game.
Hell yeah. That is an exciting end to a game. And you guys have taken the series, right? That was the second of three. The third game they may be able to win. It's a getaway day, which means that you guys will be traveling as soon as it's over to try to get back for a homestand to end your season, possibly make it to the playoffs, the minor league playoffs. But let's do a couple of little scenes here at the end, and then we can kind of bring this thing to a close and do some feedback at the end of the game. So, of course, we have our post-game celebration. You guys celebrate on the field for a little bit, but your away game, so they don't want you to delay too much. They need to clean up the field, and also you don't want to piss off the Pathfinder fans. And you guys end up back in the locker room. And Hugo, who is it that Jane Forrester asks to talk to tonight first? Who does she want to talk to first? Sorry, Hugo? Oh, Haley's having some tech issues.
Yeah, she looks frozen.
Right.
I thought she was just contemplating.
I did too. I was like, she looks so contemplating, really thinking about this. Cool. We'll give her just a minute to rejoin.
I think it was Hugo that got the those 2 RBIs at the end, right?
It was.
So definitely a chance for Hugo to shine, which means he may actually be kind to other people.
Might be. He doesn't need to recharge his teamwork pool mechanically, so maybe not. Cool. All right, so Haley officially left. Probably just had a quick... All right. We'll give this just another minute, and then we'll move on.
So skipping game 3, I'm guessing?
We are, just for time. Also, you guys
sense.
took the series, so... plus, you guys took the series, so, hey.
I mean, we want to get the brooms out, though, on Sunday.
Oh, you would. Well, we could skip near the end of the game.
I think just assume we won. That's fair.
All right, let's just we'll see who won.
We've never lost, so probably we never will lose.
We could do it in one stat roll.
You could. Why don't we do that?
JJ stealing home.
It's bold. I'm okay with it.
To sweep the series. JJ stealing home.
Okay, that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out game 3. Here's what we got. So the Goblins are tied with the Pathfinders. And we'll say that this has been not the best offensive offensive showing. It's currently 1-1. The Goblins have only gotten 3 hits. Pathfinders have gotten 2. And your one run was a home run. And we'll say that it was Brick DeVore who got your one run. And currently with 2 outs, JJ, you are on third base. And Huijin Park is at bat. And with 2 outs, you've been told to steal home. I think maybe Hoy's going to try to make this a suicide squeeze.
Okay.
Because why not? And we'll continue
a little
with
more
this.
sense than the straight steal, yeah.
Hopefully Haley's going to be able to rejoin us, but let's keep things going. And yeah, so I think what we need to do is call this a challenge rating of 4. Because if stealing third is 3, then it needs to be 4, right? That seems fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be harder.
It is. Hey, Haley, welcome back. Everything okay?
Sorry, my internet dropped, so I'm just jumping in on my phone.
Okay, cool. We're wrapping up. So what we wanted to do was see what the third game looked like. So we have just skipped all the way to the end. It is tied 1-1, the top of the 9th inning, and poor little Huijin Park is at bat. JJ is on third base, and he has just been told to steal home for a suicide squeeze, which is where Park tries to bunt the ball and try to get on base while JJ is trying to score. It is one of the craziest, most difficult plays in all of baseball. It rarely works. It is often a fool's errand. And that's why we say that the challenge rating is a 4 for you to do this, JJ. It's all on the line because I'm just going to give you a hint. If you fail, the Pathfinders are going to score in the bottom of the 9th. If you succeed, they won't.
Oh my goodness, it's the flapping of butterfly wings affecting everything around us.
It is indeed.
So is this a steal or am I just running on a bunt?
Man, I love Suicide Squeeze so much. I think you're running on a bunt.
Okay.
Now, if we're gonna go back after this to do the interviews from the second game.
Oh, we'll just do the interviews from the third game.
So during the second,
yeah, you want to retroactively get some teamwork?
I totally would have gotten my teamwork back.
Okay, well let's We're gonna flash back as Park is standing there, facing off again with the fireballer, with Connor. So we flash back to end of game 2 when Forrester comes out and get interviewed by Forrester. And she says, wow, that game 2 was amazing. I can't believe you guys now have the series. Danny boy, talk to me. How are you feeling about this weekend?
I mean, this is fantastic. I couldn't ask for, this is a great group of guys. I couldn't ask for better teammates. Everybody stepped up when they needed to today. And everything came together when it should have. And it just went, it went our way again. And, here's hoping that we can keep it going one more game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm bringing my broom to the game tomorrow.
That's bad luck. Do not bring the broom to the game.
That's right. I forgot that you're superstitious. I am not bringing the broom. And then she turns to the camera. I am. Cool. What about Brick? Do we want to? I'm sorry, Brick. Hugo. What about Hugo? Do we want to see what happened post game for game 2 for you? Just to give you an opportunity to refresh that teamwork pool, possibly.
Yeah, I think Hugo, definitely feeling very differently after game 2, and I think he wants to thank Danny, even though Danny didn't do anything in particular that he can think of. He just really feels the need to thank him and say what a great guy he is.
Oh, wow. That is fantastic. And Jane's attitude towards you now, she's like, 2 games in a row where you've been a pivotal figure. Hugo, your bat is exactly what the Goblins need. Oh, are you excited about September? Because I'm hearing the scouts are really hot on your bat right now, and there's a possibility of a call-up.
I mean, look, everyone's excited about September, but I'm just here trying to do my best and thanking my fans.
Nice. Oh, yeah, she's very appreciative of that. Jane is a big fan. Now you've won her over. She's gone from lukewarm to quite warm. And, she kind of does that thing where she stands a lot closer to you, stands beside you, and you tower over her because, you're a big first baseman. And there we go. You go ahead and get that teamwork pool back. And now we get to that suicide squeeze. Poor Park. He's laid down the best bunt of his life. But Leon is moving up the line, and he's going to try to get you, JJ. He thinks he's got you.
All right, so I have the teamwork, so I've got advantage anyways.
Yes, Danny Boy passed out rabbit's feet to everybody in the dugout before this play.
It's a whole family of
Everyone's sitting there rubbing them.
Everybody's sitting there with their cages of rabbits.
All right, let's see. Oh, easily 7 and an 8. Both of those would have been.
Wow. So what does this look like?
I have been getting in Leon's head, I mean, pretty consistently for the whole weekend. And before the play, I was like giving him strong hints that I was going to steal home. And I think he had a little too much focus on me. So this bunt, like Park is not the greatest bunter. It is the greatest bunt of his life, but it's still not quite far enough up the line to really make it work.
It's not.
But just that split second of indecision, because he saw me running home and he was like, oh my God, it's happening. But then it was a suicide squeeze, which is only slightly less insane than just a straight steal of home. And that moment of indecision, he dives, I dive, and it's just under the glove as he tries to tag me as he's diving towards home.
Nice. Yeah, and he knows that he doesn't have you, so he comes up firing for first, but Park is already run past, right? And so he gets on base. Unfortunately, you guys don't score another run, but you do take the lead. And then the Nibbler is brought in to close out the game, and he gets he doesn't get 3 strikeouts, but he's able to pitch well enough for you guys to win the game, win the whole series. You sweep. No one brought brooms, although Jane did bring a broom, and she brings it out when she interviews you at the end, Danny Boy, showing the broom. She's like, see, it's not bad luck. It's not bad luck, Danny.
So Danny has all the rabbit's feet back, and they're on keychains dangling from his fingers. So, he's like 15 rabbit's feet, trump 1 broom.
Reverse jigs.
Reverse jinx. Oh, that is it. That actually makes the news. Back home is the 15 rabbit's feet and you with the keyring. And so what I'd like to do is give you guys each an opportunity to do a little bit of an epilogue. Say, credits roll effectively. We see a little epilogue of either putting things to bed or maybe the next step or phase for your character. So I'll give you guys each just a minute to think about that as we wrap things up. That's how we'll bring this thing to a close before we do our feedback after the end of the official game itself. I'm going to close down all these YouTube videos of tub thumping and white snake and all that good stuff. And so anybody ready to lead off with your epilogue for your character?
Sure. I think JJ does get a September call-up after his showing of speeds, and he just pinch runs during the playoff stretch, mainly because his bunting isn't quite good enough to bunt off major league pitching exactly, and that's mostly how he's getting on base. But he does a little pinch running, doesn't make a playoff roster or anything like that, but he gets at least a cup of coffee that year in the bigs. And I think probably that pattern repeats itself for a couple of years before maybe he finds a break somewhere.
It keeps improving his defense and his offense to where he's got a bit more of a full package. That sounds awesome. I love it. Oh, anybody else? What about Danny or Hugo?
I think Danny makes the ESPN top 10 from just like a ridiculously awful bean, where he's like, he just, really, I think it catches him in the groin, and that's why it makes like the sports bloopers reels and everything, and he just becomes like, to this day, like, this was back in the 80s, 90s, right? But in 2018, and if you Google sports bloopers or search it on YouTube, very likely you will see in that whatever compilation of sports video, you see Danny Boy getting beamed in the beans.
Oh my goodness, you're like right up there
like
with a skier in the agony of defeat skier in the
Yes.
ABC Wide World of Sports. That's like you're the guy getting. Oh, that's terrible. That's so sad. What about Hugo? What is the epilogue that we see for Hugo?
I think for Hugo, this year just didn't end up being his year. Things happened with his family. I think his parents got sick and he kind of had to go like make that choice to deal with family stuff. I think the year after he ends up playing in a team like in the area where his family lives, and like he's a bit older, a bit wiser, and I think that he has more luck that year.
Nice. I love it.
But he kind of misses the goblins.
Kind of misses the goblins. That's great. I love it. That will bring our.
And if you're worried about Danny Boy though, just know that his brother Patrick is a urologist.
he got reconstructive surgery or something.
He made it all good. So
I like the idea that the longer we know him, the more and more brothers seem to keep popping up with different medical specialities. I thought he said there were only 4 other.
How many brothers does he have? Sweet. That will bring the game part of Bad Hack to a close. I really appreciate all 3 of you for giving this a shot. I had a lot of fun running it for you, and I hope you had a good time too. What we're going to do is what I call Roses and Thorns. That's what we'll use for feedback. And why I call it Roses and Thorns, because that's how it was taught to me. I could call it other things, but I figured that works well enough. Roses and Thorns allow us to give some positives and some critical feedback. This is a game that's in playtest, so if you can focus around, as you all experienced game players and game makers, can give me your honest criticism. Just so you know, I am the son of an ex-Marine Corps sergeant who became a high school principal. I can take it. And I do value the critical feedback, absolutely. It's helped me to iterate this game and get it better based off feedback from previous players, and so I value that from you. So we'll start with Thorns so that we can end with Roses. Who would like to kick us off with Thorns they have from the game? Critical feedback, things that were a little confusing, aspects of the game that were either disappointing or missed opportunities from your point of view, your experience in tonight's game.
There's really only one thing that I would put as a thorn, and it's not really a game thing. In the first game, I was trying to figure out how we went from the guy who got the last out and then 2 innings later without scoring, the next guy who was batting. And that threw me
I realized
off.
that in the moment as I said it, and I'm like, what? But I was too far gone. Yes, I screwed that up. I need to come up with a better tracking system for jumping innings. It's really easy to just follow the batting order, but once I jump 2 innings, my brain just kind of blanks out sometimes. I'm just going to make myself some extra notes. That is absolutely right.
Yeah. As a GM, it's so hard to be tracking a lot of information, and if your brain goes somewhere else, then you come back to it and you're like, oh, that's actually impossible.
Yeah, well, it's super impossible. What I need to do is they all have the same last name and different first names, and I'll just use their last names. And so Smith is up. No,
just so you know, I didn't catch that, and I still didn't.
Yay! Good. I actually caught that the next batter later. I'm like, wait, how is this guy batting again? Oh crap! I have totally hosed this. Thank you, Keith. That is a really good thorn. Any other? You said this only one, but anything else you can think of?
No, I think everything else went. I'm not giving any compliments here. Are you trying to turn thorns into compliments?
No, I was asking for more thorns.
There's no more thorns.
Okay, well, if someone else mentions something, you're like, oh yeah, I want to add in. You can add another thorn. So then, Dylan or Haley, who would like to go next?
I have 1 thorn, and I'm probably the only one with this thorn because my effect die was a D4, but. It would be good if there was a way to somehow be able to increase your effect, like some other mechanic to increase your effect die, because like the way that my player was built is really like his job is basically, I see his job more as to just get a hit and get on base and use your speed. So I'm not going to swing for the fences. So I'm never going to really have an opportunity to increase my effect die.
Yeah, if you have a low, if you're a middle infielder and you have that D4 and you have a low hitting. It is pretty tough. Like you hit it where they ain't, but then you have a 25% chance of nothing happening. That's why I did put in that third option of trying to get an infield single or a bunt and rolling disadvantage with speed. But I hear you. I'll think about that. Maybe there's a way. Maybe we use teamwork to increase the effect die. Right now, it's just to give an extra D20 for any stat-based roll. I think that's fair. Thank you for that. Anything else, Dylan?
No, that's it, and that's not even a big issue. It's just kind of like it'd be kind of cool if I could, if there was a way to do that.
Yeah, I could feel you kind of feeling around for it, and I saw that you had less tactical options, and I can understand that. Cool. Thank you so much, Dylan. Haley.
I think this is a pretty tight game, so there's not a lot to thorn about it. I'm not even sure if this is a thorn, but one thing that stood out to me is that the hitting phase of the game is like quite systematized. Like, you kind of know what's going to happen in what order, and there's kind of a way that it progresses from one innings to the next. Whereas the fielding section of the game, I think, did that just rely on you as a GM making kind of calls about what was happening during the game? Is that right? Yeah. You did a fantastic job. But I wonder whether there's something that could be used there to support GMs in the fielding section, which didn't affect me during the game at all because you knocked it out of the park. Sorry, I couldn't resist. But yeah, I think that support will be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. The GM section right now is Rich runs it. And it needs to be actually written and then revised and then made better. So I own that. And you're right. There's a whole lot that exists in my brain space that I've got to get to the page. And I think GM support for people who are not the person who made the game is definitely a thing that before I can take it to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, like, as well as that, you could consider whether there's anything mechanical that might lend some structure to that phase as well.
Yeah. Yeah, some mechanics to help shape a
random encounters chart.
Orcs in the outfield.
Random encounters table.
Yeah, like a table, like a drop table for a defensive play could be fun, and it plays within the black hack kind of space. I think that's cool. That's a neat idea. Thank you very much. If you think of any other critical feedbacks or thoughts as you digest it, feel free to reach out to me. Slack, Google Chat, anywhere that you want, email me. You've got my email because I reached out to you, so I appreciate that. Thank you all so much. Now we'll roll around and end with happy feelings and warm buzzes from the roses section. That's where you highlight good play from other players or any aspect of the game that you'll carry with you and felt good about. Keith, since you led us off with thorns, I'm not going to let you go first with roses because you'll steal others. So Haley gets to lead off. So do it in snake order. So Haley, you get to do the first roses. What did you have?
Nice. I really enjoyed JJ's interviews. The pithy comments gave me a lot of satisfaction, and also the pithy comments to Leon. That was a person thing I loved, and of course Danny's brothers and superstition, like all those details that gave him personality. Those were awesome. And game-wise, I really like the character creation. It's very quick, but it's also very evocative of what kind of person you are, and I think that's awesome.
Cool, thank you. I ran this at Origins and Games on Demand at Origins this past year, and every playtest up to Origins, it was the die roll just like from Black Hack. And I thought in my mind, like, I'll make it easier for people at a physical table because it was the first time I'd run it live. And I went to a point system, and it was not great. Because people like didn't know where to assign their points because they hadn't really played the game, and so it was difficult for them to kind of envision a character. It was an abysmal failure. The dive, I needed to have trust in the 3d6, the old school style. So I'm glad that worked for you because I've found that it is pretty fun to roll up a character. Thanks, Haley. Dylan, what about you? What roses did you have?
So I was going to say character creation, but
now you can't.
No, I can't.
She stole that from you.
Therefore, I hated character creation.
But yeah, therefore it stunk. No. First, I just want to say that like I had way more fun than I expected to have a lot of fun, but I had way more like, and as a sort of like a very, very, if that casual baseball fan. I really got into like the baseball end of this, and I'm like, wow, this is a really cool tight game. Like this is really, really cool. So and you ran it great, and both Haley and Keith You were great to play with, and it's just everything's so much gelled in this game that like, oh my gosh, like I could play for another hour easily.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Dylan. It makes me happy to hear it. Thank you, Keith. What about you, sir?
Well, all of the roses have been taken at this point. No, I seriously, I would like to echo both of the things that Haley and Dylan said. I agree with both of them. I was really invested in the outcome of the baseball games. It's like, oh my God, I hope we win. Yeah, we got to do this thing. And I would say overall, the biggest rose is one of the problems I have with a lot of OSR stuff is that it feels so mechanical, like, oh, you rolled your die. Did you hit or did you not hit? And whoop-de-doo, it doesn't really matter what the flavor is. This turned the mechanics into narrative very well. I think part of that was your talent for running it. But it just felt like, oh yeah, the dice came up with this. That means this happened in the game. And as a baseball fan, I'm thinking, oh, that's perfect. Like, oh yeah, my guy didn't totally botch the play in the outfield. It's we ran into each other because we didn't know who was calling for the ball. Like that makes perfect sense based on that roll. And off the field too, when I got punched in the face was a highlight. I'm very excited for that. It was like, that was some of the old D&D feels where like, oh, the number came up a certain way and now something very exciting is going to happen. So
great.
When I saw it, I was like, I've wanted to play a baseball RPG for a long time. I don't get why he chose this as the chassis to build it on, but it worked really well.
Yeah. I'm really glad to hear that. I've got a few roses to hand out as well. Haley, I love I had some mixed feelings about Hugo. Like he's a good player, but he's kind of selfish. And watching over the 3-game series, it like kind of came around and was doing a little bit more team-oriented stuff. It was fun. I really liked the conversation with Stephanie. I wasn't sure where, you'd take that offer of like, how you guys are going to work that out? Is he just going to hit on her? Like, no, like let's work out a thing where we could be friendly and cohabitate. That was such a neat and interesting way to take that conversation. I really liked that scene a lot. I liked Danny Boy. Like you were just a road warrior, man. I love all the injuries, how you kind of wore it. It was, I've seen those guys, like, the old bloody sock thing, all those kind of things of wounds and the like. Very exciting and very classic baseball. I love that. Keith, you trash talk with the best of them. I'm glad that you chose opportunities. The stuff with Leon was so good. I know it's already been highlighted, but it was an absolute highlight for me. And JJ making amazing defensive plays and being a speedster on the base pass, and even you like, why am I stealing third? This is dumb. I love that. Right? That was super fun. Had a great time running this game for the three of you. Thank you so much for giving it a shot, being part of the Bat Hack for Gauntlet Con 2018. And I hope to do a game with all of you guys again sometime soon.
Thank you. It's a great ending for my Gauntlet Con.
Yeah.
We swept.